All right, so here we go. We're trying to go live. I don't know if it's working yet or not. I can see myself over there, so I'm on YouTube. I just don't know if anybody can hear me or not. I'm going to pull it up on this other channel of mine so I can just monitor the chat. I can hear myself, so I can be heard. Let me pull up the chat. What we're going to be doing as I figure this out, because I don't know where I hid the chat. There it is. What's up, Darren? What's going on? How's fluorine doing? And chlorine and chloride. There is going to be a delay. So if you guys like talk and say something, it's something like a 20-second delay before I can respond. So don't be impatient or think that I'm ignoring you. I'm going to try to answer all questions and just talk in general. I'm going to try to get Carter in here at some point too. Yeah, I see your bots are ready. This is Big G right now. He's got a way to go. But that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm just going to kind of be working on him and just chatting and hanging out. This channel is really close to becoming monetized. It needs 4,000 hours of watch time. So I'm going to try to, do lives and some more videos in order to, get those watch hours up. Oh, you want revenge on Team Junkyard Dog? Well, that's not very hard to get. We're pretty hit and miss. Sometimes we come in and it seems like we're invincible or we're very, very lucky. And then there's other times that we just can't win a match. But that's robot fighting in general. So I'm sure you'll get revenge at some point. You've gotten revenge before. It wouldn't be the first time you beat us. I remember in, I think it was Tallahassee. I think you did pretty well. Well, you've done well against the scalar kits. I think Gumbo had your number, though, if I remember correctly. But for this event, Darren, you're going to be bringing fluorine and chlorine, right? Chlorine's the new 3-pound version of fluorine, if I remember correctly. I am getting old. Yeah, I remember the weapon flying off. You didn't do so well against the vert, but you do really, really well against the other horizontals. Did you ever get a better motor or a way to secure your motors from flying off? What's up, Chris Caps? We're going to see you in April, bud, if you go in April. I think you said you were going to try to go, is what Carter told me. Oh, it's Jupiter Robotics. What's going on, Jupiter? With Space Junk? I can't remember your fairy's name, sorry. But I've only seen it once before. Darren, that's the famous last words. It should work. That sounds like something I would say. So I asked you in a comment, Jupiter. Oh, yeah, Rocketeer. That's right. I knew it had something to do with space. Tampa didn't participate in the state fair this year. This is the first time in a while that we haven't been to Tampa in February. What happened to Tampa? So, Chris Caps, you're debating in April. You have North Carolina, which is a very tough event. There's a lot of good bots there. Then you have the GSCRL on the 29th. Yeah, it's pretty busy schedule. We're doing St. Lucie this weekend, and then in the month we have NHRL, and then in May they have one in Miami. I'm not sure if I'm going to Miami. That's a long way. It'll just depend on how things look closer to the day. But I know some of you saw the video on Big G. I think Power Surge would probably beat Big G. mean, you never know what'll happen, but Big G seems to struggle somewhat with the new age bots, you know, like the Lynx clones and all those style robots. He just doesn't have the tip speed that these longer beater bars have. His is so short, we can spin the heck out of it, but a motor with half the kV and an inch and a half more reach just seems to beat us. Like, we've had a hard time with Peter bar kits beating us with tip speed, and we know it's not because of motor. See, we were informed that Amrock was hosting a competition at the fair, but Gulf Coast. Oh, so they're doing something different now. MakerCon will happen on May 31st at their new venue. Okay. May, that's the end of May, so that'll give us something to do at the end of May. Do they run on Skynet? Jims, the way things are going, it won't be long. There's already some builders that are trying to like fight their robots from another state, and they're trying to use sensors and things so they don't have to control it and the robot can control itself. To me, that's the last thing we should be doing with combat robots. Chlorine used the same ESC and receiver chloride used. So what are you using for a weapon ESC? I was reading about power surge. Yeah, but like I was saying, God dang it. Somebody hit this nut, of course, on the beater bar, so it's going to be hard to take off. But the thing with, it seems like with Big G is we have a higher tip speed. It's like around 320 miles an hour. But if we go against a bot that has just a longer reach than us, and maybe it's because we're spinning our weapon just too fast on those initial hits. Carter's been playing a lot with drum gun with slowing his weapon. He only runs his weapon about 20 or 30%, and he'll win a lot of exchanges. I'm old school. I'm like, no, dude, you need to crank it up and go after him. And that's one of Carter and mine debates. You know, do you go wide open or do you slow it down so your weapon has a chance to hit and not skip? Oh, you got the one that Just Cuz recommends. Oh, the 70 amp one. 70 amp is plenty for the setup you're running. We've been running a 60 amp on Big G for a long time until we got this 80 amp right here from Repeat. He just wanted some testing done with it. 500 miles an hour. Is that even legal? You're going to send a bar through the arena. I'm reading your comment, Chris. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think there's a happy medium. Big G seems to do really well when we run his weapon around 30%. Plus, we usually have to run it that low anyway to kind of make the battery last because he'll drain a battery really, really quick. This police shot. Yeah. Just because you can run at a 500 mile an hour tip speed doesn't mean you should, because we all know with horizontals, you get that thing spinning really fast and you move too quick and all of a sudden you're atop around the arena. Know how that goes. That's what you got to watch with those scalar kits. They spin really fast. I run mine at half the whole time. I never go above half on a scalar kit. Yeah, I know about the grinding issue if you spin too fast, but when you have people like Aaron Taggart with Camino, Lars with Impact, they have these really hard hitting 6S monsters. And so it kind of makes you feel like you need to try to match that speed, when in reality you probably don't. Space Junk spinner can spin at 209. Yeah, that thing's like a little screaming router. It's funny because it's based on the Viper kit, but it tends to be like one of the loudest robots at the event. What can you expect from chlorine? Damage, one way or the other. I'm sure at some point your weapon bar will be ping-ponging around the entire arena. Yeah, impact is 5S. I know some people are starting to go 8S, which is just totally insane to me. I gotta find a tool. Carter's got half my stuff over here. This is Carter's rack right here. We're trying to get all of our parts printed out. I printed some more JYD armor for Gumbo today. I mean, Big G. In case you don't know, Big G stands for Big Gumbo, because Gumbo was originally a drum bot in the 1 pound class. And then when Carter moved up to the 3 pound class, then he wanted to call it Big G for Big Gumbo. Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen either. But, you know, with your weapon ping-ponging around, but we know with combat robotics, we don't always get what we hope for. And I'm not saying that because it's you. I'm just saying that because it's combat robotics. Yeah, Carter likes the idea of running 6S and higher. I tell him just, you know, change your gear ratio and run 4S. But I understand too why a lot of robots are running the higher voltages, because they get more runtime out of smaller batteries. And I get that. But when you go from 4S to 6S, that's like a whole nother level on the wallet. Space Junk versus Tappy McTapperson. You could very well get that rematch. Carter, believe it or not, one of his favorite robots to drive is Tappy McTapperson. He loves that robot. And he likes to just have a break from the weapons, and he likes to just to do the control bot thing. He likes to, you know, drive. So I got to give him kudos on that. We were talking about, and it's funny because this is how Tappy McTapperson got started. Tappy McTapperson started out as a 3-pounder that we made for MegaCon, not this past MegaCon, but MegaCon a year ago. And it was going to be a hammer saw. But I didn't have time or the knowledge at that time to like work out the weight and the details of the hammer. And this was before everybody and their brother had a hub motor. So I was trying to design like a double belt system, you know, a belt for the actuate and a belt to run the motor. And I ran out of time. So basically I just put a servo in it with a big tapper on it. And it looked exactly like Tappy, but 3-pound size. And so we brought that, and Carter had a blast with it. It actually did pretty well in fights against like Hyperfixation and some couple other bots. And it won a few, which was pretty surprising. Okay, the repeat maxes. We tried running, I think it was repeat max and the Mega Sparks on 6S, and we were told just turn your drive exponential down to where you're only using like 50% of your drive, so you don't overvolt or whatever your drive motors. Well, that didn't work for us. We smoked 2 drive motors back to back in the driveway trying to do a test drive. So we just went back to 4S, and we haven't been back to 6S. And even though all the gear we have now will handle 6S, we're not doing it because of weight. the batteries weigh. Our robots are like right on the bubble of 3 pounds. And you know, like even with these wheels, these are the wheels I showed in the video about Big G, the ones that we made. I've had to make a new set of these, and I'm going to pour the urethane probably tonight or tomorrow, but I've had to cut out spokes in order just to lighten each wheel 0.2 ounces, because 0.2 and 0.2 is 0.4. You're getting close to half an ounce there. But very tight on weight, so to throw those other 2 cells in there is just a whole nother mess of weight and everything. So Carter wants 6S. I've been avoiding 6S. I'm sure we'll be there eventually. We did just upgrade, and like I said, I did cover some of this in that video, but we just got a bunch of these in. We're switching both Big G or basically all of our Beetles to these right here, the Repeat Pros. We did go with the 4S version, the 2500 kVs. So that's what I'm going to be installing in Big G later tonight. And then Andy, being the great guy that he is, he designed these covers for these motors. And basically what you do is you pull the gearbox off and you put this on and you bolt it, and it covers the motor to keep wires and stuff from contacting the brushless motor. So very cool. Be doing all that later. I don't know if it'll be on the stream or not, but it might be. It just depends on how long I feel like sitting here and chatting. I'm going to make Carter come in here at some point. He gets so awkward on camera. Used it for a year, both Beetles, for Max's excellent results. Yeah, we used a lot of the, it's funny because almost 2 years ago we bought, I bought like 6 Mega Sparks, and I bought 6 Repeat Maxes, the first version. And we've been running those for the last 2 years. And we have 4 left, but we don't have any really left for spares. And you know, we've been rebuilding them and pulling parts from one, like a gearbox off one, put it on a motor of another one. So we have this huge pile of parts. But it was time to upgrade. So that's what we're doing. And, you know, we were told that the Repeat Pros were pretty good, so we're going to go for it. 6mm shafts for your drive, brushed. Yeah, is that your brush motors? You're using the stuff from Just Cuz though, right, Darren? Who would run 8S? I know some people are talking about it, but we'll see if it happens. Oh, you got them from Palm Beach Bots? Well, I mean, Palm Beach does sell Just Cuz and Repeat. All right. Yeah, I mean, if you could pull off 8S, there's a lot of benefit to it. Like I said, the theory, and that's the funny thing. I say theory, but a lot of these guys that are doing this stuff are engineers or engineering students, and you know, they have degrees, they're getting degrees, way smarter than the junkyard dog that I grew up as. Like, I'm self-taught on everything and didn't go to college for any of this. So, you know, they say by having 8S with the higher voltage, it basically is going to increase your runtime, and so therefore you can run a lower millivolt battery and get the same runtime. So like if you normally run an 1100, a 1050 4S, if you went to 6S or 8S, you can run like a 600 or 650 pack. But they know better than me. I'll take their word for it. I tested my drive motors carefully. That might have not worked. So Joy, what is your robot name? I don't think I've seen you on YouTube. Do you post videos? Have I just like not seen you? I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just curious. I lost my wrench. Anybody see a silver wrench on the table? How does the video from the live stream look? I am streaming on an action camera, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Jupiter Spunk is switching to Palm Power Gen 2S 350. I've had a lot of good luck with Andy's Gen 2 batteries. With Big G, we were running 1050 pack 4S, and with the ones that I got from Amazon, which we tried to run the what are they called? Let me see. We ran the full sends, and we ran the tattoo graphene, and there's another one that I ran that is the same brand that John Flack used to run, but Big G would drain those in a 2-minute match, and then I went 2 minutes with Big G with one of Andy's Gen 2 1050s, and after the match I still had 50% battery. Now, you know, devil's in the details. It could have been, you know, every fight is different. You know, maybe I ran it harder in the other fight or whatever, but I've had luck with them so far. What's good, Steve? Hold on. I know. I'm trying to. I think I know who you are. But yeah, I've had good luck with the Gen 2s. I did blow one up when I was, if y'all saw our fight of Big G versus Drum Gun fighting in our little plywood arena. You never have the wrench you need. And I just ran that thing until it was dead because we were changing drives, and we don't normally fight beetles in there or fight each other like that. But since we were basically updating everything, we just kind of went for it. I'll just use the pliers. And by the end of that match, the battery was completely dead and was swollen up like it looked like a ball. I was afraid that thing was going to go off. I actually put it in a lipo bag out in the driveway overnight. You tried the Andy's Gen 2 lipo batteries are great if you charge them before trying to use them. We tried 3S, the Orlando Mega Fair, and it died in 2 fights. Well, yeah, charging is kind of important. But 2 fights on 1 charge is really good too. Because I think when they show up, they're at like 60, 70%, something like that. All right, I've almost got this bot broken down. I'm basically scrapping everything in this, but the receiver. I've heard people are starting to have crap luck with these little FS2As. What do you guys think? Have y'all had any like misfortunes with them? I haven't had any misfortune, but it seems like if you get a power spike or something in your robot does go south, like it'll blow the receiver. I had at Maker's Fair, I had a motor wire come undone, and when it unplugged, I guess it sparked and blew the receiver. So tape your connections. Don't be a Steve. Darren, you don't use those. Use the stuff that comes with the remote. Yeah, I mean, those are good too. I will tell you this, don't use, what is this called? Radio Link. And I'm not saying all Radio Link is bad, but I put in a Radio Link system for Seattle when we went to Seattle for the first RCL championship, where we went and got our butts kicked by Lynx. And I had it in Rougarou, not Big G. And I blew the receiver 2 times. It was not very excited to fly 11 hours, or it wasn't an 11-hour flight, but it was 11, 12 hours of travel to get there to go out by a receiver popping. Big G's bottom plate. This thing's at least 2 years old. 3 mil, a little bit of overkill. That's before we knew better. You also found an ESC you use for your weapon. Okay. The AM32s, yeah. The AM32s have a softer start, I find, because that's what this 80 amp is that I have. We will catch one of your events. But last time I had spent, the main reason for we dropped the last one was because I'd spent, and it was my fault, but I spent a whole bunch of time converting Rougarou to a shuffler, taking advantage of the weight bonus. And then I saw your rule about no weight bonus, which is understandable for safety. I completely agree with your rule, but I was like, I am not converting this thing back in a day to go make an event. And Joy says, I'll come up there when you stop running a 4-foot wide arena. Well, he was 4x4, and now he's 8x4, so the next move should be either 6x6 or 8x8. I also, well, we'll save that for another day. So now I do know who Joy is. I should have known from the go. But so anyway, with Big G, this isn't really a video about Big G. It's more of just a hangout. Let's, everybody say hello. This is his new side with the Repeat Pro in it. This was our prototype of the, this was my awesome CAD work. This one only took me way longer than it should have, but I'm learning. I CAD this kind of stuff. I actually did CAD this upright too, and that took me way longer than I'd like to admit. But I'm old. I don't learn as fast as the kids do. Carter, he picked up on CAD in like a week. And because he's Carter's homeschooled and a student, he was able to use his student ID to get the full version of Fusion for free. I want somebody to build an arena for 30-pounders. We built Sweet Tooth, our 30-pounder, for the 30-pound sportsman class for Makers Fair a couple of years ago. And we had so much fun team driving that robot. It was a blast. And it finished third, which it's not very hard to finish third in that class at Makers Fair. But then, as we know, they've shut down the big arena, and there's no plans to bring it back. NHRL this weekend. Well, Chris, we're going to be watching you, buddy. Yeah, or maybe not like a, the full, the full combat 30s. Maybe even a sportsman class. Sportsman class is fun. Let me get some. This is hey Carter. I'm gonna call Carter in here. This is the motor that we run on Big G. It's a 10 shock. It's a 1401. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's an action camera, so I don't know if it's gonna focus. But these are very torquey motors. they do draw a lot of amps. Like this motor right here will pull 60 amps. And it's a 5150 kV. For Valentine's Day, my wife got me this one. It's another 10-shock 1401. This one's about 2 years old. This, of course, is brand new, but this one is a 4850. So I don't know if I should use a 4850 as a backup or just maybe save this for NHRL as a brand new motor coming out and still use this one for this weekend. But I don't know. What do you guys think? You have repeater. Oh, that would be like traumatizing to have to go face repeater at NHRL.
Yeah.
Come on, Carter. You have people here. You have the Dropkick Dojo. You have Jupiter Robotics. Chris Capps. Say hi to Chris. You have Darren.
Hi.
And you know who this is, right? I'm not going to tell you who it is. Joy No-Dos.
Aaron. I've been watching your live
I said
stream.
don't say it.
Oh, what? I don't know. It's a big deal.
It's not a big deal. But we were talking about stuff. So you're watching and you don't want to come join?
No.
Why not? Everybody say hi to Carter, the captain inventor of Big G. Everybody says hello. And Corey, do you know Corey Abbey?
Nope.
I know a Corey. What robot does Corey have? Chris says, what's up? Darren said, what's up? Jupiter said, what's up? Darren says he can't wait to kick your butt. He wants to fight Gumbo again. Well, sad news. Gumbo ain't going to this weekend. Chris, if you go in April and we don't fight, we're going to fight as much as we can. So a grudge match would be 100% doable. Especially with Big G. Big G will probably get out early. We're really trying to get the drive for drum gun worked out. We just changed his belt size from 3M to XL to get a better grip. Corey, you're going to make one this summer. What kind of robot are you thinking about, Corey? You going to start with full combat ants? Plastic ants are a great place to start too. Or are you just going to go like head first and go into Beetle? What was my favorite part of the last Palm Beach Bots event? We had the most amazing host. He's a friend of Andy's, and it was at his private business, and he does vinyl wraps and basically custom anything that you could want there. And so he had this big, huge air-conditioned floor, and it also had a built-in cafe at this venue. And he just opened the cafe for us. We could have free coffee, free sodas, free snacks. When we were tearing down, he gave everybody like a case of organic tea to take home. I mean, you can't beat free snacks. I think we even got free lunch, huh? We didn't pay for lunch.
Yeah, they brought pizza.
They brought pizza. They had
Costco pizza.
They had a bunch of pizzas made at Costco, and they brought them, and we ate lunch for free too. So free drinks, free food, free snacks, free coffee. What more could you ask for? Yeah, plastic ants are a lot of fun. Carter enjoys that class. I thought it would be kind of boring when we first saw it, but it was actually turned out to be quite a lot of fun. I think, in all honesty, plastic ants is just as much fun as full combat. But I like it because you do less damage to electronics, it seems. Not always, but, and then of course replacement parts and stuff are much cheaper, and it gets you, it's almost, it's a great way to begin and get used to how an event rolls and turnaround times and working on your bot under pressure. And when you can just go home and print a new weapon, it gets no better than that. Chris, you should try a plastic ant plant. I think you'd enjoy it. There's some really good ones out there. What's the name of that one that you were fighting that everybody fights down here? Was it on Thingiverse?
No, it's on the Crusoe one. Printables.
This was on Printables. This is a plastic ant. It fights under the name Helen, Killer Parakeet. This was Jeff Carter's plastic ant, and it's a 4-wheel drive vert. It's got a solid printed drum, and it's a very, very good first robot. Teflon. Darren, you have the best names. His plastic ant was called Teflon. It had a horizontal spinner, and it got destroyed in the first fight. GSCRL got a wicked good plant class. The captain. Block of cheeses. Yeah, it's fun. We have one because Team Witch Doctor put out some kits, and they're like a sportsman class or plastic class type bots, and they have a team that spawned from that called Cheesy Doom, and Seth is the driver, and this kid, he fights that plastic ant. They upgraded it, of course, to TPU, and they fight it in the full combat class, and he does very, very well with that robot. He usually is on the podium with a flipper wedge in the full combat class. If we can raise enough funds, we have a few ideas in mind for ants and plastic ants. Yes, funds are always the limiting factor to our fun. Jupiter Robotics. I'm working on a new kit for around $200. Never miss a chance for a sale. Seth is wicked good. He does really, really well. I can say I knew him when he first started. This was my little template that I made. All of Big G's sides, they're for the round hole. And so with the new drives, I have the square peg and a round hole issue. So I just printed this out so I can basically put it right here. Am I still live? Oh, the camera flashed. And I'm just tracing it and then using my Dremel tool and cutting it out to allow the new motor to fit in. And I'll show you what my concern is with that here in just a second. So let's go back to Corey. First ever robot considering a plastic ant. Are you going to do a horizontal, a vert, a wedge, a flipper? But you can see right there, I got to look at that camera over there. Oh, and there you can see it. That's the square I drew. I drew and I got to like carve that out. But if you flip it over, my monitor's way on another table over there. So I'm not trying to look past you guys. But whenever I cut this out, I'm actually relieving this entire corner, causing a weakness on this back half. So that slightly got me concerned, but it doesn't have me concerned enough to throw these parts away. Planning on a wedge to get used to driving. The wedge is good. It's always a great place to start. Like I said, one of Carter's favorites. Was I lying, Carter, when I said Tappy?
No.
Are you going to fight Tappy at Tampa next time we go?
Probably.
See, he likes Tappy. But put some kind of flipper on there that sits like below your wedge or something. So when you wedge somebody up, you can flip them up, because they don't always follow this rule, and we get away with this rule when we fight Tappy. But you're supposed to have an active weapon because most events follow Spark rules. So you want to have some kind of waggle stick or weapon on there. And plus, you'll get used to operating a weapon and having that third channel. Gotta head to bed. Oh, the baby's coming. Sleep is going to be bye-bye. I've got 4 at home and 1 away. So I know all about those sleepless nights. Carter used to sleep in bed with me until just last year. I'm kidding. He's back there shaking his head. And congrats on the baby, too. Going to be a cutie, I'm sure. Probably fighting robots by the time it's 2. I don't know if it's a boy or girl, so I'm going to say it. All right, where's the other? This is the side that I already cut out. You can see it's not really that bad. It didn't take all the support away, but it did take some away. Oh my God, daddy's girl, you're in trouble. I used to be so scared. I had all boys, and my fourth one was Lizzie, my daughter, and I was like, I do not want a girl. And now I'm glad I have a girl. There's a reason why they call them daddy's girls. Carter, you can be daddy's girl if you want. Ophelia, beautiful name too. Congratulations on your beautiful Ophelia. And good night. And we will make it up there eventually. But I remember like the one time was the shuffling rule. And then I think another event was really close to Andy's. It might have been the same event. I don't know. There's a lot of robot games online. Carter, did you know that?
Yeah.
What robot games do you play, Corey? Carter likes playing robot games as much as he likes fighting robots. King Pie Games. Hello, what's up? Are you a robot fighter as well? If you are, what's your robot's name? All right. I thought I could multitask here, but apparently I can't. Are you surprised, Carter?
No.
Hard to go like off somewhere. Do you want to like take over for 10 minutes?
No.
Here's a pro tip. Hold on, Carter. Get your pencil out. Darren's giving us a pro tip. Designing a robot yourself. Make sure the dang thing can actually drive upside down. Yeah, that's a pro tip. How long did it take you to figure that one out? It took me a little while. Good night. Yeah, it's hard to schedule around other events because I think you had your event up and then just out of the blue another one pops up the very next weekend or the weekend before. Almost would require coordination with others to like figure out what would be best. I don't think anybody does that. King Pie Games. I play RR2, and one of my IRL bots is called Code Black. Have you ever heard of Code Black?
No.
IRL, isn't that International Robot League?
No, that's in real life.
Oh, in real life. I'm old. I'm a Gen Xer, man. Sorry about that. So, where do you fight Code Black? Robot Rumble 2. Do you fight Robot Rumble 2, Carter?
Yeah.
And a lot of communities that use, this is from Corey, he says he plays Robot Rumble 2 and a lot of communities that use engineering games to make them. Who are you on Robot Rumble 2? Do you have like names or something?
No, it's all private. It's all offline.
Oh. Is that the one that, what's his face? Tombstone, Ray Billings plays?
Yeah. That's the one whenever we stayed up all night and the electronics kept exploding.
Yeah. And King Pie Games, he plays the same thing. This is Darren. One of the early versions of flooring was supposed to be invertible, but I failed to take into account a washer I was using to secure the old headphone jack style power switch. Yep, that usually happens. It can be, we've done that with screws before. Put in screws with taller heads. And all of a sudden, the wheels weren't touching the ground upside down. Or you make a mid-event repair and you have to modify something and your top plate ends up bubbling out more than it should. And then it turns into a pivot. Corey says, I believe I've seen Carter in one. Probably have. He spends a lot of time doing that. Yep, that's how it happens. you don't see it with your eye, and in the rush you throw it in the arena, and then next thing you know, you're getting the 10 count. What are you doing back there, Carter?
I'm done.
Oh, wait, get your pencil out. Darren's got another pro tip. Another pro tip that just reminded me of: use a proper screw switch for your robot. Don't stick to the jack style Viper kits used. Nope. You can blow those up. We've blown up a couple of those on Carter.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, sir.
Batteries.
Sir Rexalot is in the house, and he says, Big G. Here's Big G right here. Do you know who Sir Rexalot is?
That's
Tailspin.
Yeah.
The most vicious horizontal spinner to this date on the planet. If he could just deliver the weapon as hard as it hits. Hand me up there. That didn't hurt. This is memory lane for Tailspin. Watch out, the other robot might fall. Happy XL. This robot right here. This is an old robot that we built out of HDPE. We bent the aluminum, and we used a gas pipeline sign for the chassis bottom. And he was 4-wheel drive, and basically just wear your weapon out on my face type robot. And we went to the first event of Tallahassee, which paid extremely well, by the way. 2 second places, we made what, $800?
No, it was like 600 or something like that.
It was a lot of hundreds for 2 second places. But so I had to fight this against Tailspin. If you don't know who Tailspin is, look it up. And I was more than confident that I was going to wear his weapon out and be able to take his hits with the HDPE. Well, about 15 seconds in, did it even last 15 seconds?
I think it was the first hit and you just exploded pretty much.
Yeah, that didn't hurt, pretty much exploded. I mean, it hit the HDPE with so much force, so fast that it shattered. It didn't flex, it didn't bend. Like this stuff, you know, it bends like UHMW. It's just the harder version of UHMW. It has stress marks on here from flexing. And you can see where other robots have hit this one on the front right here. But he hit it so hard that it just shattered like glass. And I was just like, holy crap. Like, he completely demolished that robot to where I didn't have the will to even bring it back. I was like, no, this is just too much work. I just left it, pulled it, forfeit. He's done. Big G is a beetle weight. He is in the 3-pound class. And we have Gumbo. Gumbo is the 1-pound version, or Big G is the 3-pound version of Gumbo, which is an ant. What's up for Lakeland competitions in the future? Are you familiar with Lakeland, Carter?
Somewhere in Florida.
Well, I know that. I don't know what's up for Lakeland. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know if I've ever been to Lakeland for a robot competition. I don't know. Jar my memory there. The last 2 events ended with you sticking through the wall of the arena. Yeah. Tailspin is the one robot that can punch a hole in an arena. And what's funny is we went to, because Rougarou hits hard, but not as hard as Tailspin, but it hits very hard as well. And when I brought that to the RCL the first year, we actually hit the arena door so hard that the backside bubbled out and almost cut all the way through it. And they run, what was it, like half-inch walls?
Something like that.
It's single layer walls, but they're like half-inch, or they were thick walls. It's insane. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's where Jupiter's from. He was just, you know, if somebody was to put on a competition there. I wish somebody would, you know, like an eccentric billionaire like for NHRO would say, hey, Central Florida would be a great place to start another robot championship, and I'm just going to dump endless amounts of money into it so people can go have fun fighting robots. I mean, it's Central Florida, right? It makes sense to put it in the middle. That would be my dream come true. Yes, Makers Fair is every November. It's been the last 2 or 3 years the first weekend in November, and we go every single year. For Florida robot builders, that is our Super Bowl of events. I think we had 176 robots this time.
Probably.
So it's getting quite big, and we actually, because it didn't conflict with an NHRL event, we actually had several NHRL bots there. We had Nautiloid, we had Impact, we had Camino, which Camino is a Floridian now, so he comes to a lot of our events and kicks our butts. But we need him to give us a gauge for how much we need to improve in Florida. Impact did win it this year, though. He got first. Camino got second. Big G got last. Drum Gun got fifth, right?
Yeah.
So that wasn't bad. Drum Gun did pretty well. Well, you were tied for fifth because they did the Swiss thing. I'm trying to make, so King Pie Games is from, they have events, and there's a Miami event coming up, King Pie, in May, the first weekend of May. Check on RCL, or not RCL, what's that, RCE, Robot Combat Events website, and you'll see that event. Darren said, I did terribly. Big G lost his first fight because the ESC came unplugged and it blew out the receiver. The second fight, I won, right?
Yeah.
But then the third fight, the person forfeited on me. And because they forfeited, one of the factors, and if you continued on with a 1-win record or a 2-win record, because I did technically have 2 wins, with strength of schedule. Well, because I didn't have to fight the second fight, it basically screwed me over, and I did not make the event for the championship round. And the thing that slightly irritated me about it was they advanced a robot that had dropped out of the entire competition. He wasn't even there that day, and they still advanced him. How does that make sense? I have no idea. But Chris Caps, got to do Ruckus at some point. It's on my list. Yeah, Lars, of course Lars had a blast with it. He beat everybody up in the 1 pound and 3 pound class.
And plastic ants.
And plastic ants too. Why wouldn't he have fun? No, it is a really fun event for sure. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of BattleBot teams there. Not as many as there used to be when they fought heavyweights, but it's a real fun event. That's where the first time I saw Shatter, when Shatter was still called Blue. I saw Mammoth there before he went in the BattleBots. What's the twin flamethrower? Gruff. Saw Gruff there. Met Ray Billings there. Met Jameson Go there. Team Witch Doctor, Hypershock, Rotator, Captain Shredderator. A lot of those teams used to go. Now it's just usually the Florida robot builders. Yeah, you need to come. We'll be there. We go there every single November since 2018. If they've had it, we've been there. And I'd love to see Tailspin again and hang out with you guys. Maybe if the kids can get some time from school, they're probably still in school. I don't think they've graduated yet, college. They can come with you. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, your son was becoming an engineer or going to college for engineering of some sort, and your daughter was paramedic or something. You lost your weapon in all 3 of your fights. Well, that's the downside to running your weapon blade directly on your motor. And that's what's really good about the Scalers, is the fact that they have a really thick aluminum hub, very strongly reinforced and belt driven. That's the problem I always had with Tyrone, was the same thing that you were having with Florine. And that was kind of an ego buster too. I built Tyrones for so many years and had success with him, but then I got a scalar kit and did amazing with it. I hate when you get wins by forfeits. Rumor has it my first round opponent for NHRL this weekend might forfeit myself, and that's got me bummed. Yeah. It's always a bummer. I'd rather... I've thrown a robot in there down a drive and down a weapon just to have a fight. I mean, you never know what'll happen. Are we planning on going to Miami? Right now, because we're fighting these back-to-back events of Port St. Lucie and then going to NHRL, May might be too soon to go all the way down to Miami. What it really comes down to for us is hotel costs. If we can find a decent hotel down there, then yeah, we might go. But sometimes you can't, and I'm not going to spend $400 a night for a hotel in Miami, and it's too far away to drive there and only stay one night. So we'll see. To be determined if we go to Miami. Yeah, I didn't really know Ricky, and if you, I mean, I met him, so you know, and it was his like one of his first times fighting mammoth in that box, and I'll never forget it because it cracked me up, and I was laughing because he was really concerned with mammoth that his batteries would get damaged. So he was telling everybody like, hey, take it easy on my batteries, because he said he had pulled them from his job trailer and he was using DeWalt batteries from work to run his robot. And he didn't want to have to replace those expensive DeWalt batteries. You should ask him about that. I bet he'll remember that. Darren, it was more because I was using the wrong type of motor. The ones I use are intended for either vertical spinners or belted horizontals. Yeah, and that type of motor that you were using, I've used motors like that too. And when you see them online, they look really impressive because they have a really thick shaft, but then you find out that it's just a thick shaft on half and the other half is like a smaller shaft, and they bend just a little bit and it's all over. Or that was the experience I had with the ones I had. How long you managed to work is still a mystery. And my wife is watching. Oh no, you're supposed to be sleeping. I mean, you don't have to be sleeping, but you're normally sleeping. To be determined on Miami. Yep. Unless you're just telling me to do it. But I wanted to kind of think about it before I committed to Miami. Do you know why there are practically no wide drum bots in the ant weight class? That's probably because of weight. And in my opinion, another killer of the drum bot and even the big G style beater bars are these narrower, like, you got a bar over there for a drum gun? Or bars, you know, like this. A lot of people are using these. This is drum gun's bar, and you can see the difference in reach. And though drums spin really fast, and there are some kits out there that have really fast spinning drums, it just seems like the hub motors, the bigger verticals, the taller beater bars are gaining advantage on the traditional smaller, wider drum. But that's just my 2 cents. There's no science backed behind that thought whatsoever. Yeah, I thought Ricky was pretty funny. And he had the, I don't remember his friend's name at the time. He was the guy that has the longer hair. I think he still helps him to this day, but I only met him that one time. So, you know, he wouldn't know me from anybody now. Just like when I met Jameson, I thought it was super cool that he was on the show and he sat there and just answered all my questions and just talked to me for like 20 something minutes straight without blinking an eye. Very, very nice, very cordial. Gave me a level of respect with him. And I think one of my first conversations with Ray Billings was actually in the bathroom at the urinal. I looked over and it was Ray Billings. I was like, oh, how's it going? Pretty tough time at BattleBots this year, huh? He's like, yeah, my frame was twisted going into the final. I know it wasn't going to be good. So even while using the bathroom, Ray Billings was willing to talk about robots. See, the shaft started to fail once the weapon actually started to hit stuff well. Yep, that's usually how it goes. Sir Rex-a-lot, it's great that you guys do all these videos. I've learned a ton just watching your channel. I'd love to see y'all do some of our North Carolina events. Yeah, we want to make a trip. We usually go one like out of state, one a year. And I've been putting off the NHRL because I wanted to make sure that we had something competitive. And I still don't feel like we really have something competitive for NHRL, but we're just going to go anyway because I don't want to put it off any longer. And we just want to get it done. North Carolina is definitely on our list of things to come do. The gentleman from Team Gruff, what's his name? Do you remember? I hung out. I mean, I helped this man for 2 days. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry. But wears the cap, glasses. Him and his wife run events up there for Battle in the Backwoods. Somebody remind me of his name so I don't go crazy. But, you know, he invited us up there as well. So we definitely want to go up there. And, yeah, Chuck. I can't believe I couldn't remember his name. Maybe it's because there's a camera in my face and I feel the pressure. But, you know, we definitely want to come do that. That looks like a very, very competitive place to compete for sure. Jupiter Robotics. Rumor has it a number of Team Jupiter Robotics might make a surprise visit in Miami. That would be cool. Let us know if you go. That might help sway us. We try to stick together with the central team. Reach is king, it seems. Yes, it is. I'm finding out that it seems to me that reach is more important than tip speed. But if I knew the answer, I'd be winning first place at every event, and I'm not. So that's just my guess for now. Sam. Yep, Sam is Gruff. I wasn't thinking of Sam, though. I was thinking of the guy that helped Sam, Chuck. He was the one running the full ant cage at Maker's Fair this year. You think you have to fight. So Ryan Hahn. Do you know Ryan Hahn? That sounds familiar. Why do you sound familiar, Ryan Hahn? What's your robot's name, Ryan? He says, speaking of NHRL, I think I have to fight Mako in the second round. That would be a good fight. I think it's really hit and miss with Mako. Just from watching him, I don't know him. I've never seen the robot in person. I just watch NHRL. When NHRL comes on, my day is done. I try to work and act like I'm going to do stuff, but I end up just sitting there watching. But you got to win the ground game with Mako, it seems. If you can get under him or behind him and get him shook, get a few consecutive hits on him, you can take advantage of him. But if
you're Pine Victus.
Carter says unless you're Pine Victus. But if you can't keep him, if you can't get under him and he keeps you in front of him, then it's going to be a very difficult fight. I mean, he's been in the sport a very short amount of time, a year and a half. I think he just did an interview with Seth Schaefer, and he's done extremely well. I mean, we started in 2018, and we were punching bags until, what, 2021? Something like that. It was when we finally started winning fights. So Mako's no joke. Darren, also, if anyone here is looking at making their first combat robot, make sure you add a lot of color to the outside. Like use permanent markers or paint markers. Darren, nobody uses paint and markers like you do. There are not very many brightly colored robots in the lower weight classes. Nope, they're not. They're the color of TPU or carbon fiber or titanium. Where are you guys based? Yeah, no, Junkyard Dog, if you're asking us and not asking Darren. We're in Winter Park, Florida, which is basically a suburb of Orlando. Darren, that's for Darren. you don't bother with the ground game because you're not good enough of a driver. That sort of thing. Well, you could be if you had a ground game. What robot games do you play, Carter? King Pie Games wants to know.
A lot.
Pretty much if it's a robot game. What's that one on Roblox you play? Because you play the Robot Rumble too, right?
Yeah.
And then there's one on Roblox that he plays where you build your robots and stuff. I don't know.
It's not a specified robot game. It's Plain Crazy.
Plain Crazy? Plain or playing?
Plain, like Plane.
Plain Crazy. Okay. Do you play any others other than that?
There's a lot I play.
Well, what's another one you play?
It's just like all on like my most recent things. I don't really look at these anymore. It's just a lot.
He doesn't want to share everything, I guess. He's being secretive. He says he plays. If it says robot in the title, he plays it. Yes, Jupiter you do use, but don't you have a black robot and you just use white? Darren thinks it should be every color. I'm waiting for Darren to come out with glitter next. He's had every color but glitter. Corey's first robot's going to be bright pink. And then Corey said, that's where I know your son from. Plain Crazy. And King Pie plays that too. Darren says he plays Robot Arena too.
Yeah, that's the older version of, or an older, I don't want to say version because it's not the same developers.
Uh-huh.
But it's, but what?
Do you play it?
I used to. I just switched to our Robot Rumble. It's better.
He used to play Robot Arena 2, but now he plays Robot Rumble 2. Why not glitter? Glitter can actually get into your opponent's electronics, but you just have to shield your own. King Pie's like, he's just like me. Oh, that's funny. I got an idea too that I was curious about, see what you guys thought. Darren said he uses glitter in the latex. I mean, not Darren, Space Junk. They use glitter in the latex on Space Junk's foam tires. That's pretty cool. Do you go for that Galaxy Black look, or is it just like the urethane color with glitter in it? All right, this is what I was thinking. One of the things, like this is one of G's new urethane tires. And urethane's pretty compact and pretty heavy. Not extremely heavy, but heavy. I was thinking, what if you put, one part of part A, one part of part B, and one part of styrofoam balls, those little styrofoam balls in there, and mix it all up, and then pour it. The styrofoam might act as a filler and make the wheel lighter, but you're still going to get the grip from the urethane. Might be a crazy idea, but just something I'm thinking about earlier today. What type of glue would you use? Super glue. Put super glue on there and sprinkle glitter in it. LED lighting. Yeah, if you have the weight for it. I used to run LED lighting on my 12-pound. Well, Corey, nice meeting you. Nice chatting with you. He's going to head out. He says, good luck. Thank you very much. The way I look at robot events is it does take luck. It's a lot of fun to win, but I have just as much fun hanging out with the fellow builders and competitors and just talking and catching up with everyone. Yeah, and I'm trying to get back in the habit of doing full vlogs. Whenever, doing vlogs when we go on these events. But usually the problem with trying to vlog at an event is they're extremely noisy and get extremely hectic. And I just get like the jitters, like my hands are shaking trying to work on stuff. And the last thing I'm thinking about is updating everybody and telling a story about, fighting robots. or what's going on and what damage. And then I always try to take the idea of, well, you know what, the vlogging would be fun, but maybe I should just take pictures and then I can just film the footage. And then when I get home, I could do it voiceover style. And then I forget to take the pictures. So I just need to suck it up. I have a good noise canceling microphone, and just take the time to do that. You plan on vlogging again for St. Lucie. You vlogged a lot of your stuff, Darren, when you do your events. But I want to give you a pro tip for vlogging. Normally, your camera looks like it's about this close, and it's like we can almost see up your nose and into your brain. Try to pull the camera back a little bit. Have a little more confidence when you're filming yourself, you know, and pull the camera back a little. It'll help you out. Yeah, when you're filming videos and you're talking to people on camera, it's almost the same thing as in person. You have to treat it like you have a personal space. And even though they can control how far away their phone or their screen is, if you're too much in the frame, it's not that people don't want to see you, but it almost feels like they're just leaning in and getting like really close to your face. And it kind of makes some people feel uncomfortable and they won't watch your vlog. Dum dum dum. So, Sir Rexalot, are you going to try the foam and the urethane before I do? Even when the foam, like on the surface, I was thinking like as the little styrofoam balls pop out or whatever, it's going to leave little pits, and that might like act like a mini tread or something. Allow dirt to go in those pits and the urethane to maintain contact on the floor. A post-event recap thing. Yes. So, Carter, is there anything you want to show everyone? All right, we're going to show you guys drum gun.
Guts.
Carter's still trying to get it ready. This is drum gun. This used to be Proto X, or Proto X was a building platform for drum gun. Originally, we had a bot called Proto X, and Proto X was basically prototyping for a future four-wheel drive Big G. So then we started swapping the name between Big G and Proto X and Big G and Proto X. And Andy is like, dude, you're killing me. He's like, this is Big G. This is Proto X. Quit switching the name. You're confusing people. And I was like, well, all right. So basically, we decided in honor of Big G, because Big G was always Carter's robot. And in our minds, the way that we were going to do it was, if Carter was fighting it, it was Big G. That was his robot. That was the name he picked when he was 8 years old. And it was just going to kind of follow him around. But then we just came to the realization that you can't change Big G. Big G it's like a classic. You don't want to mess it up. And so we left Big G as Big G. And Carter renamed Proto X / future Big G to Drum Gun. And this is Drum Gun. We're trying these massive drive pulleys on the side. The reason why they're so big is they're XL, and we're doing printed belts. And when you're printing your own belts, Caden was talking to us from FSU. A lot of you probably know Caden Troyer. He suggested that we don't use 3M because we were having tons of drive issues and belt slipping. And he said go to XL, so we went to XL, and then Carter wanted to overdrive it and experiment on this event to see if he still had pushing power and if he got more speed. UF, I'm sorry, I didn't go to college. Caden from UF, not FSU. That's a big deal to you college guys, I know. My apologies to Caden and Darren. But he's also running the repeat pros on the sides. These are his own wheels. He designs his own molds and wheels. The beater bar on this is the same weight as Big G's. It's about 13.5 ounces. And it's a 3-inch by 3-inch squared bar. It is asymmetrical, so it does have about a 3.5-inch reach. He likes running these big forks on here. They do a really good job of being stiff enough, but flimsy enough on the end to get under his opponents. And He's got a full armor package that he's made. He completely designed this in CAD. He made it himself. We cut out all the components here on our CNC, and you know, our 3D printers. We make the parts. This is his motor. It's one of the badass 20
or 25,
25, 23.
something like
It's half rubbed off. It's like a 2300 kV motor. We are running aluminum pulleys, but we do run a plastic pulley on the front, and it's worked out so far. So far so good. So this is Drum Gun. Let me catch up on the comments real quick. Drum Gun does look mean. Drum Gun has struggled, and it's not because of his weapon. His weapon is vicious. We haven't been able to deliver the weapon, which is why we're making all the drive improvements, because if that thing drives like it should, it's going to definitely be a contender. Carter did a great job on that robot. Steve, which one of you is going to finish first, and why is it you? Because Carter has school, and Carter has robot games to play. So I'll probably be finished no later than tomorrow, but I just have to reassemble Big G with the new parts. It's not really that big a deal. I do have a question for you guys too coming up. You have never wait over to use urethane wheels. Yeah, that's the problem with urethane wheels. If I can't run these because weight is a concern with this chunky wheel, I'm just going to go back to foam, and I'm going to use my molds to put the urethane over foam, and that will give me the weight to get in.
Make your chassis lighter.
Yes, Caden is a great guy. He is by far, I don't want to say by far, but he is very, very good at designing his robots. The aesthetics, they look amazing. I like the way his designs look. I actually made a plant, and I called it BPA free, and I pulled it off Thingiverse and just printed it for an event for a Jedi Jill event in close to Daytona, and I didn't even know it, but it was his design. So I thought that was pretty fun. Lando, thank you so much. We have this weekend, and then we have the NHRL in April. We're super excited about that trip. Do you have a robot? Lando, Weekday Warriors. Hey, Carter. We have a team around here called Weekend Warriors, I think. That's why I'm questioning that. There are a lot of tough-looking beetles for this upcoming event. Yes, this event is going to be very tough. And do you know Lando, Weekday Warriors?
Yeah, that's Landon. He had the flipper.
Launch?
Yeah,
Launch pad?
Yeah.
The guy who took my phone and took photos on it? Yeah, I know who you are. That was pretty funny, by the way. Didn't bother me a bit. Because you guys also have Mondays and free noogies, Launchpad. Yeah. Let's see. Which beetle do you have again? Camino. Darren, you know that's Aaron, the legend, Taggart. Team Hip Replacements. That's who Joy is. I wasn't going to say it. I was just letting him say it. But anyway, let's see, where was I at? Which one beetle did? Oh, somebody wants to fight your beetle, Darren. You're a dumb looking thing. No, your robot's not dumb looking. I mean, you could say that about anybody's robot, to be honest. But what's good about your robot, even though you think it's dumb, is you built it yourself. This is our new ant. Well, I'm going to call it our new ant. It's some of you may remember Fadodo. He was the dual vert that we had that could bounce Viper kits off the roof, but had drive issues. We've remade him with one of Repeat's hub motors, and we're using this Monster Cobalt style blade. He is carbon fiber with TPU, carbon fiber bottom plate. He will be four-wheel drive. He's not running these big goofy wheels. We're still experimenting with the drive, so we're going to be swapping that up. I know that Aaron saw the video of the laser cutter. These are actually the wheels. They look bigger in the video, but it's these tiny little wheels right here that we were cutting out. And we even put JYD with the Fadodo name on them. Because if somebody, we're not running armor on the wheel, so if you knock one off it, I like to put our name on there because it makes a cool trophy. But this thing hits insanely hard. If we get this thing driving, there's going to be a lot of fun in the 1 pound class this weekend. See, Mark Weber, you guys, if you watch our channel and any of our RC event, Mark is my brother from another mother that lives across the street. We do drag racing RCs. We do the Tamiya speed run challenge every year. All kinds of stuff. He's my brother. Good to see you, Mark. I forgot to tell you I was even doing this. It was kind of an impromptu thing. I'm trying to be more engaging with this channel because recently I've just been putting a bunch of videos up of just the fights. And, you know, I'm trying to make it better to where, you know, people actually want to join the community and, you know, talk about robot fighting and put out more videos. I'm going to do a lot more how-tos. I've been talking with Andy. Me and Andy are good friends at Palm Beach Bots. He's going to send me some of his plastic kits, I think, and I'm going to do some tutorials on those, on how to build them and assemble them to help people out, you know, like I did with the scaler as well. But a lot of content coming on this channel. And of course, that's all reinforced by the fact that I have like 2,300 watch hours on this channel, and I need 4,000 watch hours to get it monetized. So, I mean, it's fun doing this channel. I just started it as fun, but it would be cool to make like 20 bucks a month. YouTube doesn't pay very much. I have 3 other monetized channels. It doesn't pay a lot unless you're like Mr. Beast or somebody. Darren, yeah, I am really proud of the fact I designed the thing myself instead of it being a kit like Chloride was. Yeah, kits are good. The first and only kit that I've had was the Scalar kit, and it outshined any of my ants that I've ever designed myself. I did really well with that. It actually qualified for the RCL. I got invited to go this year to, I think it's Sunnyvale, California is where they're doing it this year. But I'm not going to take Tyrone. That's East Coast to West Coast is just way too far. But it was good to know that he ranked high enough to get invited to that event. So, and kits are really good for beginners. And, you know, like with the Peter Bar kit, when it came out, it seemed unstoppable at first. The Scalar kit seemed unstoppable at first. But us as builders, we always tend to adapt and overcome. And now you're seeing, you know, a lot less wins with it. The Scalars are still winning in the matches, and they still are hitting the podium, but it was almost like 1, 2, 3 at a point. But just a good kit. They're great for people just getting into it. One of the things I didn't like about the kit was buying the carbon fiber for like the Scalar, 65 bucks for a pair of carbon fiber plates. And when you're fighting other Scalars, you're just ripping those up, and there goes another 65 bucks. I can cut my own out now, but before I couldn't. But eventually, you know, kits are good for starting and getting started and seeing how things work and all that stuff. See if you like the sport. But eventually you're going to want to evolve and build your own stuff. What's up, Madman? I saw you come in. I wasn't ignoring you, but I get sidetracked really, really easy. So I wanted to get my thoughts gone before I jumped over to you. I didn't notice, or I haven't really looked at the listings. Are you going this weekend? Are you going to be down in Port St. Lucie? That's a really fun event. It's going to be a big event this year too. And did you guys find cheap hotels? A lot of the hotels when we were looking, they were like $300-400 a night, and but the reason why the hotels are so expensive, I found out, is that's spring training for a pro baseball team. They do their spring training in that area, so the hotels are booked, and so they jack the prices up because of that spring training. What we did is we went on to VRBO, which is like Airbnb, and we basically rented somebody's dressed up shed. It's a really nice shed, enough to sleep 2 people, and it has a little extra room. But we got that for like $55 for the night, and that's where we're staying. What's the heaviest? Well, I'm sorry you can't go, Madman. I didn't think I saw Azrael in there, but I couldn't remember. It changes all the time. It's always fun to have you there with your announcing too. What's the heaviest weight class you compete in? The heaviest one we've competed in is the 30 pounds. We had a hammer robot called Sweet Tooth. It did pretty well. It was in the sportsman class. It used a spiked hammer, and it used a like a Chinese scooter starter motor and relays to swing the hammer. And it actually swung very hard. It could flip itself over and lift itself off the ground with how hard it swung. So really cool little robot. What's your plan for the flamethrowers? Hit them and hit them hard. It's been my experience with flamethrowers in the past that, and I guess I'm going to say in our arena, in Florida, we don't build them enough to be really good at it. So there tends to be reliability issues. I've only seen one robot since I've been competing get melted, and that was Luke's robot, Sparrow. I think it's called Sparrow. He melted a robot. It was a beater bar called why can't I remember his robot's name? But anyway, it was at like the Martin County Fair, and he melted that thing to the point you needed gloves and things were dripping. I mean, yeah, a little spurt. That's the one. Thanks, Madman. But yeah, I've only seen one robot get melted. So if you just get on top of the flamethrowers and just hit them before, they haven't been an issue for us so far. I mean, you can try like what they do at NHRL, and you can bring aluminum tape or like that gold foil tape and put it on your bot to try to dissipate heat. But my backwoods redneck thinking is if you put aluminum tape on, aluminum tape does dissipate heat, but also doesn't it also take heat and like work the opposite way too when it's heated up? I don't know. Can it transfer heat just as well as it dissipates it? I don't know. My plan for my overall plan for the flamethrowers is just hit them. That's it. Just like any other fight. Don't get caught in a corner. Let's see. You're going to Raven Rumble in Jacksonville. Yeah. It's going to be fun. He was in here just a little bit ago, talking to us, and he has plans on expanding his arena. The arena might be small for beetles, but I don't know. I haven't seen it in person. We're eventually going to try to go there, though. Jupiter Robotics is still waiting for Jupiter Robotics versus Team Madman 24 battle. That will be the greatest thing anybody has ever seen. What do you think, Madman? Thank you, Madman. We'll take all the luck we can get. Your plan for pretty much all of my opponents is keep the front towards the enemy. That's all you can do. Aim the weapon and point. It almost always works until it doesn't. Like in our case, until you no longer have a weapon, and then you're just a punching bag. Yep. So, what are your guys' plans? Lando launch. I say, wasn't it? You say launch pad? Wasn't it launch pad, or was it always just launch pad? Am I screwing that up? But what's your plan for the flamethrowers? Maybe you can give me a good idea. I never actually go into a fight with a plan. As far as my planning usually goes is what weapon do they have? How fast can they spin it? And how fast do we have to spin ours to match theirs? Because I always try to get the weapon on weapon, that first exchange. Where am I at here? I like how that is how my thing. Since it was mentioned earlier, just noticed registration for Miami opened. Yes, I thought it was opening the 27th. Maybe opened it early. Oh, there is a flamethrower in ants. I bet you didn't realize that. Luke, who has a little spurt, is also putting a flamethrower. Carter! He walked off again. I can't remember its name, but there's a flamethrower in the 1 pounds. Jupiter Rotobikes have been friends for a long time, ever since 2023, I believe. We're just waiting for the stars to align. Once they do, we're going to make the whole thing a WWE matchup with intro music. Gotta have intro music. We were actually going to have AI write an intro music for Carter, and I was going to blast it, but Carter doesn't think that's cool. Jupiter has ideas for flamethrowers. So it was Lunchpad, and yet it's misspelled. What's Luke's flamethrower in the ant class? Wasn't it minigun, Gatling gun, or something? Carter's going to look it up for us. Lando thought he was safe from flamethrowers because he's in the 1 pound class, and I said, ha ha ha, joke's on you.
No such thing as safe from flamethrowers.
No safety from flames this weekend. Can you have flamethrowers in the plastic ant class? That would be awesome.
No.
Why? It's not a metal weapon.
It's banned.
Carter's looking it up for us.
Gatling.
Yeah, that's it. Gatling.
No, flamethrower.
So nausea is that's your undercutter, right? And you're running the hub motor too, right? Are you running the repeat hub? He put RIP. I really don't think you have much to worry about. I mean, it's like this. Luke could come out and surprise us, but he's had consistency issues, and I'm hoping that it continues, but knowing Luke, it probably won't because I said something. So, I mean, you just got to go with it. Have fun with it. Oh, we have Caden. Caden, I am so sorry. I accidentally said earlier that you were from FSU, but your brother in arms, Darren, set me straight. UF.
You've gotten a lot of work done on your robot.
I haven't got nothing done. This was supposed to be a rebuild session, and all I did was take it apart. Yep, that's all I've done. Here's you a look at. This could be one of Repeat's new ESCs coming out. The 80 amp AM32 weapon ESC. I've been testing it out. Works fine. No issues so far. Heat-based weapons banned in plastics. Yeah, I know they're banned, but it would be cool if they weren't. I just want to get a single win with chlorine. If I can manage that, I'll be happy. I'm sure you'll get a win. A soldering pin in plastic ants. Yeah, anything heat and plastic ants would be awesome. Jupiter, yeah, that fire would melt the life out of a plastic. I know it would. Heard I got a shout out. Loving the printed drive. The printed drive. Oh, on did you see Drum Gun? Yeah, I gave you credit for that too. Let me see. We're running we're going to try these massive drive pulleys. What are they? 20?
I think they're 22 tooth.
22 tooth. They're very heavy, but they are XL. So we did convert everything to XL. I did have to design my own XL belt, but I think I got it well enough. It takes me, if it probably takes you like 3 minutes, it takes me way longer for the first one. Then once I remember how to do it, I get it done. But it seems like it has way more grip than the 3M style. So thanks for sharing that with us. And we're going to see how it works this weekend. That drum gun is shaping up pretty nicely. We still have to cut out some more top plates on the little CNC over there, but it's going to be good. Sorry, let me catch up. Of course, you got to shout out. I always mention you. I was giving you mad credit for your design skills on how you build robots and how aesthetically pleasing they are. See, hey, Caden. Everybody say hey to Caden. Weekday Warriors is here now. That's got to be Zach, right? Is that because you have Lando, which is Weekday Warriors, and now we have Weekday Warriors, the official Weekday Warriors channel. Are you guys going to start making videos? You should. UF brothers stick together. I know, but I didn't go to college, so I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw that. Of course, you got us in on this Florida trip to NHRL, and we were going, as you know, I'm sure. And I saw that you registered a 12-pound Powerball. I'm very excited to see that. Maybe I can do like some kind of an interview or something for my channel, and we can like talk about it and stuff. If you're open to that. It's going to be Florida Man NHRL. That's what we're going for. Whoa, geared up drive. Yep. It's way over geared. We know it's going to have a ton of speed, but it's the pushing power that's the concern, and also the weight of the pulleys. But we'll see if we can work it all out. I'm sure you do have extensive notes. Mine are extremely, extremely close. I just go off of the drawings whenever, like the profile drawing. And, then once I make my loop, I start adding teeth in and, to the pattern tool until the other teeth have the same gap as the original two that I set up. That's pretty much how I do it. You probably know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Caden is come on, Darren, wipe your mouth. I'm just kidding. Caden is a robot designing god. Yes, he loves doing that. Maybe in this new age, he'll be able to do that for a living on some level. Sounds to me like Caden needs to have a YouTube channel. I bet if Caden had a YouTube channel based around CADing robots, he would probably do pretty well. I would watch that. Space themed robots name. Element 115. Asteroid impact. I'd consider going, but I want to test chlorine more before throwing it into the super big leagues. Yeah, I have a feeling that Big G, I'm bringing Big G solely for the purpose of legacy. Like, we beat the crap out of that robot. He's taken his lumps. He's earned his trip. Drum gun, if we can get the drive worked out, there's a chance. I don't think Big G has much of a chance. But I could be wrong too. It just, you never know. You never know. Plant X. If Caden made a YouTube channel, I'm subbing. Everybody would sub. If it gets funded in time. Uh-oh. There's the if factor. Funded in time. See, we need that millionaire from like the NHRL has. Help us with our bot projects. How does Caden get funding in time? See, Caden, you don't need to do recaps. Your strength is designing robots. And I'm pretty sure that's a passion of yours too, because you put so much effort into it. So I think that if you did a channel and you did mostly like your CAD stuff and showing people how to CAD robots, and then throw in your event recaps and event coverage and stuff like that, I think it would do pretty well. But if you have a robot channel on YouTube and you want it to do well, you need to look at other channels like what's that, Team Vector? This kid came out of nowhere and posts like the most amazing, entertaining videos, like has a knack for storytelling, and he's just hitting it out of the park. And even that robot, I haven't seen him this year, and I hope he's not done. What's that kid's robot's name? He had the twin disc on the front. They were aluminum, his first event. Blonde guy from Key West. Somebody help me here. It starts with an A.
Amethyst.
Amethyst. Him and his dad have a YouTube channel, and they've only done like 3 or 4 videos, and I think he's already in the thousands of subs, right? It's like insane. They just put together these like snappy, well done little recaps, and people eat it up. They're doing extremely well. I wish I could be more entertaining with my videos like that, but if you don't know, I make product videos for a living on Amazon, and I have a YouTube channel that I put all my product videos on, and it's like I make videos every single day. So when it comes down to sitting down and just doing videos for fun, it's almost like another day at work. That's one bad thing about making your passion your job is, I started making YouTube videos in 2017, and I have 3 channels that are monetized, and I'm trying to monetize this channel, but you think that's all you ever want to do, and you work your butt off to get there, and then once that becomes a viable income for you and you can make a living doing it, then once you're dependent upon that being your income, it becomes a job. But anyway, that's just some advice for you guys. But Junkyard Dog is going to get better. I actually just got into, and it's almost finalized. I don't know if it's really going to come to light or not, but I made a video about my snap maker. If you guys saw the short laser cutting wheels, and I'd said something about the 3D printing not being great, and I tagged Snapmaker in that. Snapmaker emailed me, and they were like, hey, we saw that you're not quite happy with the printing abilities of your Snapmaker. And I was like, well, yeah, it's not really the Snapmaker's fault. Mine's a couple of years old. I've been doing a lot of CNC with it. There's bed wobble, and the Z-axis isn't the greatest. So, I just kind of bill it as a 3-in-1, a jack of all trades, but a master of none type machine. And so they challenged me. They're like, well, how about if we just send you another artisan machine, their new machine, and you can make some videos and stuff on it and see what you think. So hopefully that comes to light, and they send me a new Snapmaker, and I can, I'm going to do some more videos on that, on the CNCing and the process, and showing you guys how those machines work. It's a great machine for what we do with robots for sure. What's up, Joe versus RC? I saw your Clodbuster video today. Trying to keep that thing on the ground with 4S. The rear steer did seem like it was giving you a little trouble there. I'm sure you probably already have it worked out since the time you released that video. If you guys don't know, Joe versus RC, I met him on this channel through the TTO2 or the speedrun challenges that we do Tamiya's. It's not really robot related, and this is a robot video, but what it is a Tamiya car, they have some kits that you build that are very budget friendly, $130 or whatever, and they're made to go like 15 miles an hour, 18 mile an hour tops. And we do a speed run challenge to see who can make the fastest one. And we have 2 classes. We have a brush class and a brushless class. Now, the second year of this event, we actually won the brush class at 69 miles an hour. And this year we competed in it again, and we got, I think it was 5th. fifth, fourth, fifth in the brush class and second in the open class. And I had a brushless car, and I think I ran, it was 87 miles an hour with this car that's supposed to go 18 miles an hour. And the winner of my class did 121 miles an hour. The only reason why I got second was just due to lack of competition and people completing their runs. But I'll take it. Counter Revolution. That's a good robot. You're doing good, Jupiter, with your videos. You just need to do more, I think. I'm going to have to watch your channel again. But I watch your videos when they come out. Darren, I watch yours too. Caden, if you ever put one out, I'd watch yours. I think Madman used to put some out, but you changed your photo. It's funny because if you go on Madman's channel, you can see him when he was really young. It's pretty cool. So in the chat, who all is going to NHRL? I know Caden's going. I know we're going. Aaron, I think he left. He's going. Is any of the weekend warriors, or any of you guys going? Weekday warriors? Collabs are always good. I'll give you a little bit of YouTube advice. Do collabs. Don't do shout outs. I've been in the YouTube game for a while. I'm not very successful on any one channel, but I have several channels, like I said, that are monetized and have done okay. Oh, Zach is going. That's cool. And I had a friend that had a channel, and it was kind of off of I met him through our family channel, and he was friends with the Ninja Kids, and those guys have like 5 million subs, whatever. He got a shout out and went on their channel, and it boosted his subs. But what happens is if like a big YouTuber gives you a shout out and a bunch of their people come over and sub to you just because they said, go check out this channel, what'll happen is if you're not extremely entertaining and ready for that boost of subs and have your stuff together, those people are going to start unsubbing pretty quickly. And it's going to send a very negative metric to YouTube about your channel sucking because all these people are leaving your channel, and it'll kill you in the long run. So earn it the right way. Take your time. Make good videos. As you build it, they will come. Your views are a reflection of your skill. And I don't have very good views, so that can tell you where my skill is. Oh, how the time changed. Yes, I did. I was creeping your channel probably about 6 months or so ago, Madman. I say creeping. I was just like, let me see what Madman's posted. When did he start his YouTube journey? Lando. Zach's going. Amino Industries. Why do I know that name somehow? Adam. I can't believe you're here, Adam. You're slumming it today. We have greatness in our presence. Amino Industries. Temporal Terror is a beast. And when we fought Big G versus Temporal, that first fight in Tallahassee, I was like shocked that Big G hung in there the way he did. He did really well that fight. Still lost, but he held his own. It was a good fight. I love Temporal Terror. He's a great bot. I love your designs, Adam. It's all you Florida kids, man. Y'all got your stuff together. Sunday Scaries is going to be there. You know what? This is the only bad thing that I can see about a Florida takeover at NHRL is we're all going to go there, and we're all just going to fight each other like another weekend here. And we're going to be eliminating each other. Watch it. It happens every time. Unfortunately, Aaron told me he's dropping. Weekday Warriors is registered. Yeah, it would have been cool if Camino went, but he'll kick our butts this weekend, so he'll get his chance for sure. Sunday Scaries did really, really well. He got lucky against Big G, though. I think Big G would have had him, but we had issues with stuff moving in the bot and clipping our drive motor. As a matter of fact, it was one of these, but this one, I actually printed this. I made my own filament out of Coke bottles, and it was more fragile than I thought, and it sheared off and was no longer protecting the motor. And so we lost 2 fights. One was against Butterside up. I think it was up, not down, Butterside up, because a wire hit our brushless drive and we were in the pit, and without both drives we couldn't get out of the pit. So we're coming for you, weekday warriors, Sunday scaries. We got your number. Ring spinner guy, is that what you call him? It's me. Hellfire will always be known as one of the best ants of all time. I think I'm one of the few people to have a Hellfire trophy. You can't see it, but it's up there. I'll keep that forever. The first time I fought him with the scalar kit, I cracked his ring, which I was proud of that. Nobody, it was a judge's decision on that fight. Nobody really took damage, but I lost. Dum 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 dum. Also, I'd love to collab as well. So Darren wants to collab with Jupiter. So does Madman. Let me catch up with these comments here. I'm way behind. Yeah, NHRL and the shuffler rules. Everybody's messing with the shuffler rules. And word on the street, I may have heard, is this year, as we know, it's 25% bonus. Next year will be 0. No more bonuses. They're going away, from what I heard. I don't know it for sure, but that's just what I heard. Adam's going to be studying for manufacturing. Yes, some of his favorite fights. I did win a mini Hellfire, though, with Odious. And you should feel special, Adam, because Odious was specifically built to beat Hellfire once. That's the entire reason why I spent $40 per motor times 4 in that robot, bought a Candy Wasp wedge, and built a TPU chassis, was just to try to beat Hellfire. I didn't care if it beat anybody else. I just wanted to do what very few could do. And I got lucky once. And yes, I do say luck. I consider it that. Dum dum dum. Jupiter Half-Baked. I know Half-Baked. That's Ari. Isn't that you, Ari Half-Baked? You missed a lot. We've been yapping, or I've been yapping for a long time. I don't know if you saw in my video that I released talking about Big G. I was talking about my super custom wheel armor that I designed. Actually, I made the rough shape. Carter refined it, but I actually gave you props. As much props as somebody can get for square wheel guards over, you know, a 2-wheel drive beater bar type design. But I did, apparently, whether I knew it or not, I drew inspiration from Food Fighter. Let's see, the Florida takeover would make for some good content, though. Yes, it always does. But we want to take over NHRL, not take over each other. It goes, heading cats to try to pull up with 17 members to St. Lucie. Yep. I'm sure that because you were talking in Tallahassee, and I think you brought it to NHRL, Temporal Terror 2, second version, refined version. So that's what I'm expecting to face this weekend. I'm sure it'll be as mean as ever. We still have to watch out for Camino. He's a pretty mean robot. Florida primetime would be awesome. Yeah, if we could get all of us in there primetime, it would be epic. But if we all take each other out trying to get there, who's not going to be there this weekend, Caden? What did I miss? Is Aaron? Did Aaron drop from this weekend as well? I was assuming he was going. Mino Industries. I think we were one of the only people to win against me with Odious. Yes, one of the very few. And I think if I remember correctly, it was a um how should you how do you put this and be correct about it? Somewhat controversial. Uh I think I was hoping I won and you felt like you won and the judges picked Odious. And you know, it could have gone either way because if I remember the fight correctly, I controlled a lot of the fight. But at the end, you did manage to rip a tire off, which showed the only damage of the match. So you did, and I agree 100% that you did have an argument because of damage. I mean, it could have went either way. I wouldn't have been sad either way. I remember at Martin County Fair, Rougarou was fighting against Jack and a drop saw, and he like cut into my drive twice. And it was crazy because he like just cut all the way through my 3mm top plate twice in the exact same spot. And just at the very end, the robot kind of like flipped around and I ripped his weapon off. And I was like, there's no way I won that fight. And I was like, I, I completely expected to lose that fight. And they gave Rougarou the win. And I was just blown away. The only time Rougarou's ever won is when somebody else drove it. And that was when John drove it for me in Tallahassee. That was the second Tallahassee event because his robot got obliterated. Rougarou had lost, and then I forfeited for Big G. And so Rougarou was out, and John didn't have a robot to continue. And so we talked to everyone, and they're like, yeah. So Rougarou stepped in for Bite and ended up winning the whole event. And that's the only time. That sucks that Aaron's not going. I mean, it's good for the parts budget that he's not going because he usually costs me money. But, I would rather him be there for sure. You needed to take some more wheels. I mean, but you had damage. And I technically was not a legal robot with Odious because I didn't have an active weapon. So that should have counted against me, I think. But I will forever cherish my mini Hellfire. No, I think you had it. I don't think I did, but I didn't rip a tire. I killed a motor. You joked that I owed you $40. Yeah, I joke a lot about that. The thing that retired Odious really, and it's kind of funny because I was convinced that I could take Odious and just win a whole event as long as I kept the wedge pointed in the right direction. And the thing that retired Odious was the cost of those amp brushless drives. I fought a match with Insomnia. We all know how good Insomnia is. He's a really good ant, and he trashed 3 of the 4 drives in one match. And that was $120, like gone like that. And I was like, nope, I'm Dunsky. No more Odious. And then I tried to do it, like replicate it with a brush drive, and it was more of the FingerTech style, like a non-brand FingerTech, and it could barely move itself. And I was like, no, I'm done. Yeah, I wish he was going to be there, but sounds like he broke some stuff at Moto, and he did have tough luck at Moto. I talked to him a little bit. Kane, I need to find you on Facebook or something because there's times I have questions and I don't know how to reach you. Yeah, he filled me in on his moto and what was going on. I talked to Aaron a lot through Facebook Messenger, so I knew that he was talking or thinking about not going, but I just didn't know that he had officially decided yet. There's only 4 and I got 1. I will cherish it. Maybe I'll make an epoxy puck and I'll like embed it in epoxy so it stays there forever. So we know Aaron's going. We know Caden's going with Powerball 12. Really excited to see that. And Brooks is bringing Brooks is bringing a 30, isn't he? Did he give up on Doppelganger, or is he doing Doppelganger like for another event and doing the 30 now? Yeah, Termigator. You're trying to talk to you about the uprights for hyperdrive. Yeah. I know Carter's on Discord. You can contact me, of course, through Facebook, or just you're gonna. I think you're gonna be there this weekend. Are you gonna be there this weekend? I think you are. That's what we were just talking about. But I'll give you my number or give you my Facebook. It's easier to get me through Facebook because I'm sitting at my computer all day for doing my work, and I tend to ignore my phone. But yeah, we need to be able to talk, because there's times that I have questions about robot designs and stuff too. So maybe we can set up some exchange. I can CNC parts. You can help me with some designs, and I'm not saying design it for me, but just advice and things like that. Doppelganger will return. Now, are they bringing Steggy? Because are they going to try to qualify Steggy? By Brooks and John. Doppelganger will return, I'm sure. Oh, okay. Interesting. You're using his electronics. See, my question for you Florida guys is like, I don't want to say depressed is the right term, but it does kind of sadden me to think that a lot of you guys are going to be graduating soon. And it tends to be like a trend with the college kids that once they graduate, of course, you now have a career and you're working towards retirement like every other responsible adult. Are you actually going to continue to fight robots? Now, I think I've talked actually about this with Adam before, and Adam it's blood. I think he's going to do it forever. But I'm just curious. Doppelganger return. Okay, no, John and Brooks are both teaming up on the 30, so no 12s from them. Darren, you'll try your best to. Because I picture this cycle of, you guys, you'll fall in love, you'll start moving on with your life, and then I have to adjust to a whole nother group of new coming in people. And then one day you'll have kids, and then in like 20, 15, 20 years, I'll see you guys coming back with your kids, because I'll probably still be fighting robots. Yeah. And, considering, Adam, that you are in school and in college, and I'm sure you're doing quite well because you're a very smart guy, that, you will have income for that one day. You're going to do quite well. I'm sure you have plans on taking it further than, NHRL, BattleBots, even if it ever comes back. Yeah, that's the problem when you start paying for everything yourself is when you start scaling up the size, you really are scaling up the money. It gets expensive really, really, really quick. So Madman is a lifer. He says he's actively getting jobs teaching it up in Michigan. Did it last year and got offered to do it again. Well, good for you, Madman. I always figured, with the way that you like to announce and MC and stuff, that you would pursue something along those lines as well. I'm sure you are. Jupiter Robotics will never end for as long as we shall live. Big G is still on the table in a million. I know it is. It's hard for me to read comments and respond and build at the same time. But I'm sure some of you Florida guys were offered to join with Repeat Robots. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Big G, yes, I'm going to build him. Big G, I've been building this robot since 2020, and I can literally put the whole robot together in about 30 minutes, to be honest. So I'm not really stressing it. A full body spinner. I've always wanted to do a full body like a Captain Shredderator. Always. That's like a long-term goal of mine, is to build like a 3-pound Captain Shredderator. Captain Shredderator used to be my favorite robot. Then it was Tombstone. Still is Tombstone. Tombstone doesn't win that much anymore, but when he does win, he wins in a fabulous manner. Just build, and this is no real offense to Purple Fire, but build a ring spinner better than that one. That one always explodes. But I'm sure they'll get it figured out. It's not an easy task, except for Adam. All right, here's a question that I have for you guys. I'm undecided for this weekend. I was building a new robot called F-Bomb. F-Bomb is basically a shuffler. You've seen Gumbo, the new Gumbo. It's the same weapon as Gumbo, but made out of steel. It's a 7-ounce beater bar on a shuffler, and I was going to bring that, but I just didn't have time to finish it. I have all the shufflers made and all that stuff, but my real concern was with 7 ounces of weight all the way in the front, that it wouldn't have enough pushing power to slide that heavy weapon with the shufflers. So I dropped that robot. We registered the new Fado right here, not with the big goofy tires. He will have smaller tires in the back. We were just trying some stuff. You know how you experiment. So Fado will be there, and Tyrone's going to be there. But what I can't decide is what version of Tyrone am I going to bring? Am I going to bring the Thwackbot version, the Scalar Sniper version, or am I going to bring my Scalar kit? I don't know which one. I haven't decided yet which one to bring. My dad and I are planning on starting a camp for young builders, kind of like Andrea's CWD. We might even start holding comps down in Southwest Florida. Well, that's a good thing to do. I mean, if you make a career out of what you love, you never work a day in your life. And apparently they are the key to free championships. Darren likes the sniper Tyrone. Like how Southwest we talking? How far Southwest, madman? Darren, you've seen the belt sniper Tyrone, haven't you? Where'd I put him? I think, let me go get him. I'll be right back. I found him. I'm coming back. Maybe we'll do more of these live streams. I think it's as much fun for you guys to chat with each other as it is for me to host it and talk with you guys. Because at events, we get to talk and chat a lot, but it's, you know, you're always busy, and, you know how it goes. I like talking after the fact and talking about like what happened and feelings and things that, you know, what you actually thought when you're not in game mode. This is the sniper version of Tyrone. He's got the Candy Wasp Odious Wedge on the front. He uses the brush drives, and he's a Thagomizer style bot. This is his normal weapon for every other bot but a Scalar. But when he fights a Scalar, it's a very long belt, and it happens to be the exact height of the belt on the Scalar kits. Don't ask me how I knew what that was. And I just start out backwards and I just hit them weapon on weapon. Of course, my bar hits their belt, snaps their belt, and I just turn around and push them around or whack them with the tail more. It's proven really effective. Caden likes the sniper since it's an original design, so regardless of how it does, it always feels more accomplishing than a scaler. True. And I don't have that many top plates for my scaler, and I don't feel like cutting them out. That's what sucks about when you fight a scaler with a scaler. There's already, I think, going to be 4 of them there. And like I said, scaler is a great kit. One of the best ant weights I ever built, and it wasn't my design. But when I decided to stop fighting my scaler was when we went to Tallahassee, and I think there were 5 of them there, and I was like, that's just too much. Jupiter Robotics, again, Lakeland needs competitions. We have a handful of teams located in nearby Lakeland. We plan on hosting competitions here in the future. Well, you got to host them. Ari says soon. Why isn't Half-Baked Robotics going to NHRL in April? Sucker is going to tear through TPU. Yeah, I fought this one. It was down near West Palm. And the problem I had, I'm going to give credit to Darren on this. It's a Darren style weapon on the back here. So it loves to fly off. Or an older Darren style fluorine type weapon that loves to fly off. So I had problems with how sharp it is. And this was one of my very first catted weapon designs that I made myself. I actually used the pattern tool and everything. Congratulations to me, right? But it was sticking in robots. So you'd have to get unsticks because you were stuck into their TPU. And then when I put the long bar on, the long bar, if you hit the sides of the arena, like on a deflection or something, it just shears the motor right off. And I was going to put this hub motor on it and actually add a second brace. So I'd have a carbon fiber on the bottom and the top with the hub motor in the middle. And that's going to happen in the future. But we decided to build a Fadodo first. So we're going to bring Fadodo back. And if you guys like this Tyrone, I will bring this Tyrone. Carter is on Discord big time. I don't know anything about Discord. I've never been on Discord, but I think he's listed as Team Junkyard Dog on Discord. So you can contact him that way or contact us that way, for Discord. Carter likes going on Discord and watching the Peter Seth battles. Tally was when Powerball fought like 4 or 5 scalers. Yeah, finally convinced me to add the wedge. Yeah, I never loved the idea of having a kid because that was the first and only kid I've ever had. But it was just so good and so easy. But like I said, once it got saturated, I'm like, we can't have the sport turn into everybody with the same robot. Problem with scalers is that they are beatable. Yes, but it is hard to do without taking damage. Fill up a bracket and it becomes a problem. Yeah, that's what this is for right here. Scalers can't handle wedges. And the reason why I did so well with my scaler, because I've been driving horizontal since 2018. My first ever robot was a horizontal. Well, my 12-pounder was, my first robot I ever built was a 12-pound vert. But our first ant was a Gumbo and Tyrone. And Tyrone's always been a horizontal. So I had a lot of practice and experience, and then from fighting Rougarou. So when I got my scaler kit, I knew how to control it. And when others were getting theirs, they just thought they could just hammer the weapon and they're just going to cause mass destruction. And they didn't realize how unstable and how much the bot would flip and fly around if maxing out your weapon and all that stuff. So that's why I did well with mine. But that's one of the problems with the scalers right now is people buy it as a kit and they really don't know how to drive a robot, and they just, they don't know how to drive it. So if you put a wedge on them of any sort, they don't know how to react and handle that. So I think people are learning how to defeat them. And, you know, I've seen them on less podiums recently than the very beginning. Darren is not getting roasted. How can I roast somebody when I'm doing the exact same thing that they're doing? If anything else, I'm saying that I'm on his level. This version of Tyrone, when we fought it down the first time, I had won the fight, and I just happened to bump the wall, and my weapon went flying off. Almost cost me the match. So, join the club. I started the club. You're just a member. Yep, Madman did use real forks. I remember that. Yep. We had scalers beat the snot out of Space Junk in the past. Came so close to winning against the last one we fought. Going to take a miracle for Space Junk to beat a scaler, but it will happen. It won't take a miracle. Space Junk being based on the Viper kit, or mostly a Viper kit, it is it's very doable if you have a good wedge and you just compose yourself. What a lot of people don't do on their drives to maintain control of their robots is they set their robot up, you know, and they follow a tutorial, whatever, on how to set your radio up. But you have to learn to adjust your dual rates and slow your turning down to give yourself more control. If you leave that wide open, then you just spin too fast, and in the heat of the moment, you tend to oversteer. And when you overcorrect, you're going to leave that wheel open for that scalar kit. So what I used to do with Carter on Big G when he was learning how to fight Big G, and he couldn't handle the speed of the Mega Sparks, because even with a Mega Spark, Big G is super fast because his wheels are so big. So, you know, he gets a lot of top speed. So I would actually turn his drives down to 30% and slow his robot way down. And he hated that, or I don't want to say hated, but he didn't like it, but it did give him better control. And of course, now we've turned them back up for him. Maximizer. That's that new, isn't that kit with the undercutter? Believe it or not, Space Junk, for the most part, doesn't use stock parts. We've modified so much, including upgrades specifically for scalers. Yeah, and I can just go off what I've seen. I haven't seen, you know, much of Space Junk except for in the arena. So, like anything, you know, you're going to modify it until one day it's just a completely different robot. You've beaten a scaler with a Viper. You had your AR 500 wedge and it just drove smoothly. It can be done. I agree, Madman. It sure can. Yep, exponential curve is the way to go. I said dual rate. I guess it depends on your radio, but you get what I'm talking about. There's a way to slow down when you turn left and right how fast your robot rotates. You only have to rotate fast enough to keep the robot, your enemy, in front of you. Of course, you want to turn faster if they flip behind you, but you know what I'm saying? You don't need to go 100 miles an hour to spin. And the more you get that to a controllable speed, the better chances you're going to have in your match. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's just my 2 cents. A kit-only class or all custom class. The kit-only class idea, if you guys remember, Andy for a while had the Ant Rookies, and that's basically kind of what that was. Viper kits and newer robots. He tried to keep like scalers out of it and baby beater kits because you know, and like a rainbow poison full, you know, but that class was designed more for Viper kits and wedge bots and stuff. People just starting out, so they didn't get waxed by the more experienced builders. So it was kind of along those same things, that same thing. When fighting robots, is that driving is half the battle. I spent a lot of time on driving when I taught the camps. Yeah, if you can't drive, I mean, it's a true statement. You have to know how to drive, because if you can't drive, you're just going to suffer, especially if you have one of my robots and the weapons go out as much as they do. If you can't pin somebody and back up that, then you're screwed. FSIA6 can adjust both dual rates and exponential curve. You can even set a switch for sport mode, which I used to have mixing for when my weapon is working and when it isn't. Yeah, I'm not that advanced. I will be one day. And maybe Adam has done this before, or in Caden, you smart guys. I've always wanted to set it up to where there was like a sensor in it, so if it flipped upside down, the controls automatically reversed. I just learned how to drive upside down really well. We used to have driving practice of just flipping the robot upside down and driving upside down. I would love to be shown anything. See, I'm not that good at programming either. I'm good with this. The old traditional fly skies. That's what we pretty much. This was actually one of our first radios from 2018. We still use it, but for sure though. I added 15 pages to our design guide on how to fight. A lot of people don't realize how important it is. I think, and this isn't blowing, I don't know the politically correct way to say this, but maybe that's the junkyard side of me. But Powerball drives really, really well. And I'm not saying that just because Caden's here, but when that thing works, it works so well. I mean, it's like hyperdrive too. I mean, I've gone deep in the rabbit hole of those remotes. Yeah, a lot of us have. And a lot of people are running the, what are they called now? Radio Masters. And they're coming out with cheaper radios that people are using. I think Sunday Scaries, I think you're using the Radio Master now. But for my skill level, the Fly Skies are just fine. I would really, and I know you guys have probably thought about this crap too, but growing up, I used to race RCs in the 90s. And so I love the pistol grip. You can drive so much easier and better with a pistol grip. But the problem with a pistol grip on a combat robot is controlling your weapon at the same time. You either have to let go of the steering to turn your weapon up and down, or you try to thumb roll it like I used to try to do. But I always thought like it would be cool to have a pistol grip that you had to plug in or something, like you could plug into it and you almost had like a pedal on the ground that you could put your foot on and you could throttle your weapon while you drove with your foot. Get that thing set up, Caden. You're going to need it in April. You guys are teammates. He should be showing you that stuff anyway. More 150 gram events in the US. I think 150s are dying, unfortunately. For me, we had one called Lanyap. It did pretty well, but that stuff's so tiny for me. I just really, really have a hard time working on it. I have extra large hands, actually, if going off glove size, and I just can't work on them. A Zorro 4-in-1 that I have yet to test. I want to run ELRS for NHRL, but probably not for this weekend. Radio Master Pocket is the same price as the FSIA6, so it's pretty nice for the value. Yeah, we're considering that radio. Smaller, easier to travel with, and it's Radio Master. Anybody planning on meeting Space Junk and or Little Rocketeer at Gulf Coast Maker Con on May 31st? If they have an event in Tampa, Junkyard Dog will likely be there. but May. Hold up. March. Oh, yeah, May might be doable. Always try to support Tampa. I like the events there. I wish the arena, of course, was 8x8, not 6x6, and I wish we could still fight beetles there, even though we can't. But you know, beside that, which they will improve that eventually, is what Terry said. But I like Tampa because I consider that like a chill event. It's very relaxed. I can just kind of kick back and take it easy and experiment more. And it's just fun to hang out and do that event. I feel like it's almost like a scrimmage or something. I know it's a real event, but I just feel like it's less competitive. A lot of the bigger bots don't show up there, so it's just a fun time. 150 grams, just a weird weight class. It feels so small for a beginner weight class since it requires a good amount of knowledge in how to build a robot to make it fit in a small space. Yep. Those 150s are getting nasty, though. They got some nasty ones that I've seen recently. Because if you watch the Australia guy, Team Panic, if you watch some of his fight recaps, they have some pretty amazing little ant weights. That's their ant weights, is what we call a fairy. New arena in Tampa for Gulf Coast MakerCon this year, plus Beatles likely returning. Good news. I'm not sure what dates my Michigan camp is because I haven't planned it yet. So, any of you guys watch Team Panic when he builds his robots, the Australian guy? Adam, if you go to Tampa, it's a plywood floor. We run cleats there. They haven't banned them there yet, so they help out a lot. On our beetles, we don't run them on the ants. Okay, so the Team Panic guy, he's I'm trying to be nice because I mean he's a good builder and all that stuff. And this is just me personally, just talking as friends like we are. We all know each other. But do you ever watch his videos and you like hit your head on some of his designs? Like, dude, I know you're smarter than this. You've fought robots way too long to be doing what you're doing right now. Do you ever say that during one of his videos? We'd love to have a new arena. Unfortunately, I refuse to fight in that current arena again. It was super unsafe to me. Yeah, that's exactly, Adam, the exact video I'm referring to, the flipper one, directing with the rope thing. I was like, and then the one with the doing his hammer thing, and he couldn't lift a big hammer, so he puts like something dinky, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, come on, bro. I'm a redneck with no college. I know that. Yep. But I love watching his videos. I do learn some stuff from him. Actually, when I first got started, he was making videos, and I actually used his video to learn how to do the mixes on the Fly Skies. So I give him full credit for that. He taught me an easy way to do mixing setups on the robots. Midterms tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have to do this again for sure. I didn't realize that I really expected nobody to watch this, to be completely honest with you. And the fact that my fellow bot builders showed up tonight and stuck around this long and we got to talk shop was pretty awesome. It's fun to talk to you guys. That's like half the event for me, is just being able to see the builders and you know, reconnect with you guys and talk about robots and things that we're thinking about doing. So really cool. Thank you guys so much for coming. That's for sure. All right. So I'm going to end with this one last question. Uh, what are the top, which robot is your biggest fear? I don't want to say fear because we're not scared. It's not like we're in there fighting. But which robot are you the most worried about in St. Lucie this weekend? I have a few. Let me know what you think. Carter, if you're watching this stream, get your butt in here. I know, I wish I could go look too, but I'm using my phone for the chat and my computer's over there running the stream. So, oh, please. Junkyard has been, I don't want to say sucking, but we haven't been doing great the last several events. We've been really struggling with Drum Gun with the drive, and Big G's been really inconsistent. But it's, like I said, it's not Big G's fault. We usually just throw Big G together with whatever's laying around and left over, and we hope for the best, and that's usually not the best way. Like when we had to match with Caden in Tampa for the final, we were talking like before the event, or you know, before the final, and we like struggled with Big G that whole day. He won all of his fights, but it's like the first thing, it was like he had much stuff wrong with him. We got like a lucky win. And then the second fight was like we made a lot of improvements because I mean he had been just sitting around forever, and we didn't even remember that much like about working on him. And the robot got newer parts and improved throughout that Tampa event, and we got lucky and won it. But it was just crazy how that worked because I told Caden, I was like, actually, you know, this is the best Big G of the day. And he probably thought I was talking smack, but it was true. It was like he he did get better throughout that day. All right, let's see. Space Junk. I wish Space Junk could be there. Half baked. Of course, you're going to say clown. Honestly, I'm going to go in blind, so I don't know the field. But Drum Gun looks scary. The other UF bots should be scary too. Yeah. If Drum Gun can drive, he'll be scary. Carter's a good driver. Drum Gun has just had so many problems with slipping belts and things like that that his drive has not been consistent at all. But I think there's more to worry about than him. Hopefully I'm wrong. Junkyard, I mean, we either show up or we don't, so who knows. St. Lucie is a tough call. So many tough beetles. With Camino out, I would think most of the people in the chat are a threat. Well, we know temporal tear is one of the bigger threats. Hyperdrive, it depends on which hyperdrive shows up. That's up to you, Caden. I've seen hyperdrive do amazing things, and I've seen hyperdrive not show up. But the same can be said about us. I'm not picking on anybody. If hyperdrive shows up firing on all cylinders, he's definitely a threat. And I agree with Adam. You know, 4 scary beetles for sure. The new type of drive is called. Are you talking about tangent drive? King Pie Games? That's what I think Temporal Terror, you're still on tangent drive, aren't you? Free Nuggies, yeah, Free Nuggies can be scary. Unless you rip his motor off like Gumbo did. I bet Zach remembers that. Take that, Zach. Taking those photos on my phone. Darren, you fought the old me. Yeah. Darren, you fought a lunch pad, the aluminum flipper. He's got a much different robot now. He has, I think it's called Nausea. It's an undercutter. It's really hard. Don't count on world beater hyperdrive this weekend. We're running major uprights again, but nylon uprights again, but weapon system finally worked out. Well, hyperdrive did really well with your nylon uprights, so as long as you don't get in those upside down, like we did in Tampa. Big G was right side up, or Big G was upside down, you were right side up. Huge hit. You took the whole corner off the bar. Where is that bar? Right here. Is this the bar? I think I ground some of it out, but I mean, look how beat up this bar is. But you literally, no, it was another bar. Let me find the other bar. I want to show Caden. If I can find it. Yep, this is it. This is the hyperdrive damage right here. I got to look over there at my monitor. But you see this whole missing corner? You lost a bolt and bent a bolt up really good in that exchange. But this is what you did to our 4040 steel bar. Took the whole corner off of it. So, yeah, thank you. I'm sure you feel the same way. Using the Cobra 2204 so I can hide them in my drive walls. See, Carter wants to try a tangent drive. I just haven't. We haven't done it yet. Peter's making a tangent drive setup too as well. I don't know. I'll talk to you about it this weekend. Maybe run my fears, and you can tell me whether they're valid or not. I'm just like concerned that maybe the brushless motors don't have enough to torque that to do that, but like basically burning out on the wheel and just burning a hole in the wall and you lose drive. It's like, how do you safeguard against that? Do you run like a big gear on the shaft? Yep, launch pad, that one. It was a fun fight for you, probably, Darren. We'll see. What's been killing me was spikes and not being able to self-right without weapon. Well, hope so. I'm sure you will. Hyperdrive is always a formidable opponent. He has our respect. I got one of the new bot though. Caden. Haha, whoa. That's an insane hit. Yes, it was. That was your hyperdrive hit. I'm a little bit ahead of the chat, so if I'm missing the conversation, that's what it is. YouTube makes you run like a 20-second delay when you're live, so. Yeah, still working on wheel wear. I bet if you're like using a urethane wheel, you probably have to run a pretty hard urethane. Like we use a 60A right now, which I think is harder than some, but I find with a 60A that you get good traction and also good wear resistance. I use the old screw hubs on the motor shaft method myself. That's what Big G uses. Yep, run a spline. Fix some of the Skyreay's issues. I can gyro self-right now semi-reliably. Well, that's good. Carter, when he's in practice with Big G and it gets flipped over, he knows exactly what to do to flip that bot right over. I struggle with it. That's why I usually like, I'll show up as a driver of Big G, and if I'm not doing well or whatever, or if I just don't, feel like fighting so much, I'll let him drive both the Beetles because he knows Big G. I'm on a 45 amp because it has a really high tensile strength, the 45A. Oh, 45A, okay. Really? That's pretty interesting. I need to learn more about urethane, I guess. Peterbox 2207 hub motor. That's what we're running in Fado Do. Same hub motor. What happened to rebuilding Big G? I guess I'll be rebuilding him tomorrow. Fortunately for me, I'm self-employed. So what I usually do is if the event is on Saturday, I'll just take all of Thursday and all of Friday to get my bots ready. Well, Carter, Mister in the comments, why don't you come show me how much you've done on your robot, sir? Carter is joining us from his bedroom live. He should be in here sitting next to me. See, my bots have been ready for nearly 2 months. Well, that's great. I don't like having my bots ready that early because with my robots, there's always some kind of nuance or odd part or weird procedure, or there's always something that I have to remember when I'm rebuilding that component, that part, replacing this, whether it's to flip this up and turn this way to get this out, whatever it is. If I have them done too early, I'll forget about that. And I go to the event, I pop the robot out and something goes wrong. And I'm like, oh crap, how did I do that again? So I like to rebuild them right before the event so everything's still fresh in my mind. But I am 50 years old, so, you know, my mind's not what it used to be. He's too cool for me. Well, all teenagers are too cool for their parents, even if your dad does build battle bots or combat robots, I should say. Tuning till the day before. That's what I'm talking about, weekday warriors. Why am I going to call y'all weekend warriors? You're not like the national, you're not the reserves. Hyperdrive's about ready. Just got to print the uprights. Shocking. Little damage after the last event. All things considered. Glad Eviscerator won't be at St. Lucie. Yeah, Eviscerator was really tough. Eviscerator got lucky with Drum Gun. Drum Gun was actually winning those weapon on weapons with him. And I felt like we could have won that fight. But what we did wrong was we misaligned the motor from the pulleys weren't aligned, and it slung the belt, causing him to lose weapon. And without a weapon, you have no shot of beating that robot. He's way too aggressive and way too fast. But until we lost weapon, it was a good fight, and we had him nervous. And we actually did, I think, more damage than he took all day in that event. We actually split his chassis side all the way down the side, and he had to replace that whole entire chassis side. Let's see, hyperdrives. Okay, I just need to wire. Yeah, I got a wire too. And bend, and that should be good. Printing spare wheel guards now. Yeah, I got my wheel guards printed. I printed my guards to keep the wires off of the brushless drives. Andy designed these and gave them to me. But the way they work is you actually have to pull the gearbox, and you put this in, and then you bolt the motor back to the gearbox, and this just gets locked in. Your wires come out the side. I love how much room I'm going to be saving with the Pro drives, though, compared to the Mega Sparks. It's insane. I'm going to gain like an extra 1.5 inches inside my robot. Hope you and Tempe T fight again at this event. Your fights are usually highlights of the whole thing. Yeah. It depends on which robot shows up. And it's funny because Big G's had really like mixed results recently. And like I said, most of it's just due to lack of preparation and just throwing them together right before an event, like, okay, this is good enough. But his biggest nemesis, and seems to be an ongoing theme for a junkyard dog, is traction and our drives. So we're like with the foam wheels at the last event with Big G, we had put on a brand new set of wheels that were really had a bunch of latex on them, and Carter drove that thing. I mean, it was just like flying around the arena like a whole nother animal. But then the very next fight, because the silicone was off the had worn off, the latex, it drove like crap again. And one of the battles that we face with G is if he gets tweaked, it'll you know, cause that uneven chassis, and one of the wheels wants to lift off the ground. So it's like you have to gun the motor to pull that other wheel down, and you know, taking that flex out of it. So that's just one of the battles that we face. And it's not something that I would talk about at an event, like, you know, not because it's a secret, obviously, because I'm telling it now, but it's just one of those things that we've struggled with that robot, is maintaining traction. And that's why Carter made this wheel. It's a TPU core with the urethane cover, and it's made to fit on the repeat hub that just slides right in, and then you bolt it through the front here. But it's a little heavy. This wheel weighs they weighed 2 ounces a piece, but I went and cut out some spokes and removed some excess urethane, and I got them down to 1.8 ounces a piece. So between that and some other lightning, I think I can get these wheels on. And if I can get urethane wheels on Big G instead of those stupid foam tires, then you know, it'll be okay. Still remember the time you got stuck together twice in the same match? Yeah. That was Tallahassee, I believe. He sucked the armor off of maybe that was Drum Gun. He with Drum Gun, he sucked the side armor off into his weapon and clogged his weapon up. Big G, I think he embedded his weapon into the back of it once. That's actually I think it was, tell me if this looks like your hit. It was either this one that we smoothed out, you can see that, or it was this one right here. I think this is the one where you punch through. I just keep running the same back plate. This almost indestructible garbage can hasn't let us down yet, but I'm gonna have to come up with an alternative to that. Use that video to show new members how to self-right without ears. Yep. That's good to know that you show new members how good you beat us up. Well, very cool. You guys got anything you want to add? I guess it's about time to wrap this live stream up. We could talk about this crap forever, it seems. I've been fighting robots, like I said. I started in 2018. I started watching robots in 1999, 2000, but I lived in Mississippi and Louisiana, and there's nothing there for it. So, yeah, you never could get into it. And it wasn't until 2017 that I learned about Florida actually having combat robots. And I actually wanted to leave Florida and go back to Mississippi because I just wasn't feeling it when we first moved here. And then when I found out they had combat robots, I'm like, nope, I'm a Floridian now. Been here ever since. We don't knock foam wheels. They are a really good option. That weighs almost nothing compared. Yeah, they are really good. Don't get me wrong, but there are better ways to get traction than with the foam wheels. You can add urethane to foam and get I think a good all-around wheel. But another problem that we have with the foams, with the Beetles, is when you use a hub like this repeat hub that has this clover style pattern on the inside, is it strips out. And even when you have traction, it's just spinning on the hub. The foam doesn't offer a lot of resistance to stripping off the hub. Yeah, you got to set the precedent. You see these guys? Even when we're gone, you got to watch out for these guys. They look nice, but they're jerks. They'll beat you if you let them. Which robot? I'm talking about this guy right here. This is a Tyrone that I fought on my right. The camera is backwards, so I do know my right and left. This one's Tyrone. I fought this one at 2 events. He took 3rd in his first event. It's a Thagomizer style. I just run foam wheels with no wheel guards. I have this bar for slicing up TPU, and armor. And then I have a very long bar. That's the perfect height for cutting belts off of scalar kits. So this is the version that everybody voted I should bring this weekend. So I'll probably bring this version of Tyrone. And this is one of my first CADs ever, as you can tell. This took me like 45 minutes, even with the wedge mounts. I know you guys would have done it in like 3 minutes, but I'm learning. Had a blast. Thanks for doing this. And yeah, we're definitely going to do more live chats, whether we do it monthly. I don't want to say weekly, because if we try to do it weekly, then we're all going to get tired of each other, and it'll be like, oh, just another one of those things. We've already talked about everything we wanted to talk about. Don't want to burn it out. Gum rubber instead of EVA foam. That's funny. I'm familiar with gum rubber. We used to use that offshore. I spent 15 years in the oil field, 12 years as a commercial diver, and we used to use the gum rubber for helping seal up leaking pipes when high pressure pipes would blow underwater. Well, gum rubber was used more on like low pressure, 30, under 100 pounds. But I've used a lot of gum rubber, so that's a good idea. It's very sticky. Yep. Know a little bit about Lynx. We tangled with him. Oh, I thought I'd already talked about Tyrone. Carter says Fadodo. Oh, the blue bot? Yeah. If you missed it earlier, this is Fadodo. You might have remembered our first version. Carter has the chassis in there. It's a four-wheel drive vert. It's using the repeat hub 22. I think it's a 2207 hub motor. What's it say on here? Yeah, it looks like 2207, 2400 kV. It's got the Cobalt style weapon bar on it. Carter's making some forks for it. We were experimenting with tire sizes. It drove very well in the prototype stage. We had it made out of PLA. Then we switched it to TPU, and things got floppy, and now wheels don't want to touch the ground, and the drive actually sucks. So I'm getting ready to maybe print a chassis out of nylon, because nylon will give, it's not as rigid, of course, as TPU, but it's much better than PLA. So, and we need to eliminate this flex. We did put a solid carbon fiber bottom on it out of 1 mil carbon fiber to try to stiffen this up, because this is the concern. And of course, once we tighten this bolt down, it will take some of that wiggle out as well. But we don't want to solely be depending on this holding the front of the robot together. So we're either going to have to make some kind of wedge that also holds the front together, or I'm going to print this out of nylon or polycarbonate and run it like that. But it hits like a beast. If this thing drives, that's a warning to the 1 pound class. This is another one of Carter's designs. He catted this thing up himself. He designed the uprights, chassis, everything. So kudos to Carter. He's learning. He's getting better. But that's going to be, he's listed as Fadodo. Adam said, gorgeous. Yeah. We were driving it. It's a four-wheel drive bot, and we just did the 3M TPU belts. You like the big wheels in the back? Yeah. I mean, it does kind of give it a rake to bring the weapon a little closer to the ground and put more force down on the forks. I mean, who knows what we'll show up with. But like I said, we made it with TPU belts, and it works as a four-wheel drive. However, the little brush drives that we have, they seem to be struggling somewhat with the four-wheel drive. We did heat the belts up to relax them a little, to take some of the strain off of the tension, and that did help with the drive. But it actually drove best as a two-wheel drive bot. We removed the belts altogether, and we drove it on the concrete in the driveway, where it would actually get traction with the foam, and the thing was like zippy. It was doing insane. And we have to have drive in the back, of course, for self-righting, because these ears, when it lands like this, you can just torque the weapon and it'll flip itself over, or you can just throw it in reverse and flip it. And then, if it falls at any other angle, the weapon has enough torque to start spinning and start bouncing it to where it can flip itself over. So it's almost done. We're going to put a lot of work into it the next couple days to try to get it as ready as we can. Of course, Caden likes different size wheels. And I know Caden and Adam and some of the more experienced builders know this, but a lot of people don't think about it. I know this because, I mean, I used to do off-roading and drag racing and stuff, but by being four-wheel drive and running a smaller wheel in the front, you're actually overdriving the front compared to the back. So the front is actually spinning faster, and it helps you keep your bot straight because these wheels are traveling more, helping to kind of eliminate some of that twisting motion. But one thing that I think also would be a good tip for us robot builders is we always run, and I can't speak for all you guys, but we always run our wheels completely like at a 90-degree angle, so to speak, to our chassis. In all reality, you should have about 2 degrees or so of toe in on your wheels. And that will help you maintain, like for box rushing and stuff, a much straighter launch. It helps take some of that wander, and like even your car, you know, the car that you drive has slight toe in and stuff to help with controllability. So if you want a tip, try to add a little bit of toe in into your robot. Tangent drive gives you the wheels to spin at the same speed for free, which is a cool side effect. Yep. Perhaps. I just know that, like I said, when I raced back RC cars back in the day, it was dirt track racing, and so we always put toe in on the front to, you know, and the cars automatically had toe in the back. Now, when you're doing speed runs and you're running your cars, you know, you're trying to go like 100 miles an hour with an RC car, they tend to run toe in the back and toe out in the front. But we're not trying to go that fast. Anyway, I guess it's about midnight, so we'll go ahead and wrap this stream up. If you guys have any final thoughts, go ahead and leave them, throw them out there. If you guys want to do this again, which it will happen again eventually, because like I said, not only am I trying to build the community on this channel, but I'm also trying to, of course, increase the watch time hours so I can get this channel monetized. You know, it might make 20 bucks a month maybe, but hey, that's 20 bucks towards robot parts, right? But what do y'all think would be like a good schedule? I'm thinking like once a month maybe, to like do a live like this to where we just have like a full-blown robot chat. I think if you do it too much, people get burned out. They really don't want to do it. They won't show up. So I'll just plan on for now like once a month, and you know, I'll see most of you guys this weekend in St. Lucie. So we can definitely talk about it. I just wish, you know, we could almost set it up to where we could all almost like a Zoom call, you know what I mean? Which I know people really don't want to do that, but I like hearing your guys' ideas and thoughts as well as sharing my own, because I mean, that's how we all get better, and that's what it's about, having fun and getting better. Why not start a Discord server? Carter has one, I think. I don't know anything about Discord. You got to remember, I was born in 1974. I'm old. I'm actually getting to the age where I got to pull my phone in close to see it. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, I know I joke about being old, but I've done video and computers and crap for a long time. I mean, I used to be a camping sniper on the first ever Call of Duty made, so but running it sounds like a pain. Well, maybe I'll talk to Carter. I can involve Carter in that, and get something like that going, you know, like a Discord server there. Because on Discord, I know that you have chat, but do they also have video or like conference style stuff? You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think. Because I've done other things before on YouTube, but it was always like a big Zoom call, and everybody just called in on the Zoom call and went online and talked to each other. I don't have a problem talking, but I'm just looking at it from like your perspective. Like I know Adam would have a lot of insights. I mean, all you guys, Caden, Darren, you know, we all have stuff to contribute. And when it's done in this format, it's pretty one-sided, you know what I mean? And I'm all for having, you know, 10, 15 people join my YouTube channel and watch it with me. That's great. But you know, for my own selfish reasons, I want to hear what you got to say too. Or, you know what I mean? It's like I don't want it to be so one-sided. I mean, I get to just speak freely and answer questions. You guys are sitting there having to type this stuff and listen to me. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about it in the future. We'll see how we're going to set it up, who's going to set it up, and all that stuff. If you're on Discord now, just look for Junkyard Dog on there. Carter uses our name, I think, on there. If you're still in the chat, Carter, just chime in what your Discord is. But he uses the Junkyard Dog logo, so we can, you know, do it that way too. Well, there you go. A lot of people have seen him, and I really don't care who sets it up. So we just have to decide. But anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this chat up. It was awesome talking to you guys, especially right before an event. You've seen all our secrets. I've already revealed our bag of tricks before we even go. And you know, I don't mind sharing. You guys know that. I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend. It's going to be awesome. And Temporal Terror, Adam, be nice. Don't be too mean to us. First, we had to put up with Brooks kicking our butts everywhere, and we're like the witch doctor of Florida robots because we have more second place trophies than anybody, I think. And then we finally get rid of Mechanical Advantage, and then here comes Adam. So here we go again. But all jokes aside, you guys be safe. I can't wait to see you this weekend, and it's going to be amazing. I know, Order 66. There's another mechanical out there. Just kidding, Kaden. We love to say that to you. And that's funny. And another thing, we got to be careful not to scream, put them in a body bag at this event. You should know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'll fill you in this weekend. All right, guys, stay safe. Safe travels. We'll see you guys in Port St. Lucie. There's a ton of robots there. And it's going to be awesome. It was a whole thing. I was screaming it at the last event, and people were like hushing me, like, don't do that. All right, guys. See you next time. See you this weekend.